This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this midweek edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. Here with me, I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just watching all this stuff happen in the NBA and seeing some scams going on.
Scams.
And the secret NBA team is being run. And nobody says a word about what's going on here, but feels strange, feels illegal, feels against the rules. But I don't know. Kind of hard to reconcile with, but I'm watching. It looks very good for the Lakers.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it was you a couple years ago that was like, it's basically like, the joke. It's going to be 2 labels. It is the LeBron Clutch Sport camp, and it is the Kevin Durant Rock Nation camp. And it's about Rock Nation and Clutch as 2 empires pulling the strings in a Machiavellian style for control over the NBA via their force and power and all that. So it's like,
one of them's in New York, one of them's in LA, and like y'all might as well rip them Nets and Lakers logos off them jerseys and then like replace them, like
with Jay-Z and LeBron.
Yes.
I mean, look, I'm not as far in that as you are, but if and when James Harden becomes a Brooklyn Net, then we can revisit that. I might want to pick up one of your and buy one of your tinfoil hats. So
yeah.
But anyway, we do have a guest.
Yes, we do. First time.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Who's going to say a name? Like, who's going to say a name? Josh, you going to say a name? I'm sorry, not Josh, but Rich, you going to say a name? That last name? How do you get the last name? You get the last name. I don't want the last name. You can have the last name.
Yeah. So we've got Josh McLaughlin from the Bit Suplex podcast on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. You might have heard me on there maybe like a month or so ago. And also it's basically a podcast about Impact Wrestling as well as the video games, all types of stuff. So what's going on, Josh? Welcome to the show.
Hey guys. Hey, long time listener, first time guest. Love being here. I appreciate the invite to come on and do a little preview, do a little review, and always a good time to talk to you guys. And like Rich mentioned, I'm the one of the co-hosts of 8-Bit Suplex. I'm the lesser co-host, but the more available co-host. So you guys are stuck with me in the guest spot. Maybe someday you can get a hold of Sandy and she'll jump on too. But I'm happy to be here.
What's up, Sandy? But yeah, man. So we've got on deck today. We only have 2 things. We have Survivor Series, obviously, a preview. Yes, WWE Survivor Series sneaking up on us just out of nowhere.
Well, that's happens. You don't watch the promotion.
you look up and then all of a sudden, it's a pay-per-view on Sunday. And then what?
Well,
then
I think the normal tell is Thanksgiving, right? And I think with 2020, I looked at the calendar and I said, "Oh my God, Thanksgiving is next week." And then I was like, "Oh my God, Survivor Series it's all happening at once here. 2020 is a heck of a year, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
there's a
like-
lot of time dilation going on. Shouts out to Matthew McConaughey and Christopher Nolan. Lots of time dilation. Shit's moving. All at the same time. Shit is moving too fast and too slow.
Yeah, man. So, and we got a Stardom show to talk about. What was the name of it?
Yeah.
Stardom.
Sendai Cinderella.
Okay.
Yeah, like what they've done this year is pretty much any pay-per-view level show they've done. They just name whatever town they're in as Cinderella. Like the October 3rd match or show that I think is the best Stardom show I've ever seen was Yokohama Cinderella. And they were going to run that, and then this damn pandemic popped up and it moved stuff around. So that's what they've been using for these gigantic shows that are in, stadiums bigger than Korakuen Hall that could hold over 5,000 people. But because of social distancing, they're selling these at a certain capacity, a low capacity. So that's what they've been doing. But yeah, they had that show, and we'll go over it. But first, let's get into Survivor Series. Where do you want to start, Josh?
In the Survivor Series, like Bret Hart would say.
I mean, we can start wherever. Do you want to save the team matchups for last, since those are kind of like the bigger matches? You want to go through like the lower titles and work our way up, or do you want to start pre-show?
Nah, go top down. So if people want to skip through the shit, they can skip through it. That's how I want this shit in, like, the most important thing first. I don't need a build up.
Sure, yeah, no, we got go ahead, Rich.
I'll say the champ versus champ match, Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. Apparently, Roman Reigns tonight, I was following on Twitter, served, basically just called him all types of you're a number two, you're someone that they get to do all the stuff I don't want to do, a full, basically called him a fake champion, a secondary champion, all this other stuff.
So he's further going down the path of being Brock Lesnar.
I don't know how that's being Brock Lesnar, but because Brock don't never do none of that stuff. So there's not even a time he wants to do any of that stuff.
Oh, no, I mean, as far as saying, I don't care about this company. I'm this heel champion that's OP as hell. I have matches that aren't really wrestling matches. They're supposed to be spectacles that if you do it too much, they can run their course. And I have Paul Heyman hanging with me, and then I say for heat, I don't watch the product.
I mean, that sounds like a babyface move to me. But Josh, what you got on this, man? Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns, what the hell is about to happen? Because I have an idea.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, right, and obviously we get Drew McIntyre because he won the WWE Championship on Raw this week. It was a pretty good match that he had with Randy Orton. But yeah, I mean, this doesn't feel like either guy is going to lose, really. And what I'm fearful of, is the aforementioned Brock Lesnar may make an appearance. That's kind of my bold prediction that this thing kind of ends in a no finish, and Brock just kind of cleans house by catching them off guard towards the end of the match. But if I'm giving a non-pessimistic, I'd probably say Roman Reigns wins.
Drew McIntyre happens to be in a feud. He just won the belt you mentioned from Randy Orton this week. They've been in a feud since SummerSlam was their first match. WWE likes to take a feud from SummerSlam and go to TLC. They do it every single year. And what would be the easiest way for them to get to TLC? That's right. Randy Orton runs in, hits the RKO on McIntyre, and Roman Reigns picks up a cheap win, and then next month they have a TLC match. Drew finally vanquishes him, and then he goes to the next calendar year as a champion.
Quick question: what was the feud that ran from SummerSlam to TLC last year?
Now you're asking hard questions.
Yeah, give me a moment. I will think of it.
Okay, because 2018 was Charlotte and Becky.
Right. Give me a moment, and I will think of it.
Okay. While you,
I would say too that Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, they also have The Fiend and The Miz feuding kind of on Raw Miz has the Money in the Bank briefcase. So there could be some other schmozzy chicanery stuff that kind of comes into play.
Yeah, I can see that. Look, there's been like a handful of times while doing One Nation Radio since 2012, mind you, where it's just like, you look at the match, you're just like, yeah, you're not going to finish. You're getting fucked here. So, like, they're not proving me wrong that they're actually going to beat one of these two clean, which I'm not holding my breath for it. So it's like, somebody's going to run in, whether it's The Miz, or it's The Fiend, or it's Randy Orton, or I don't know, maybe even Daniel Bryan or Brock, as you mentioned, and then you're going to see, nonsense maybe happen with The Miz and the Money in the Bank briefcase. So that's where I am on it. Like, I'm just going to put that part where it's like, I know they're not going to be anybody. I don't have the guts to do that. Let's put that to the side.
All right. So
are they going to have a fun, entertaining match? They could. Their match at WrestleMania 35 wasn't that good, but those two could have. There's no reason why those two can't have a good match together. And we'll see. Like, hopefully, we'll finally see like match mode from the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns as opposed to the stuff he's been doing, because that's going to get real old real quick if that's all he does.
So last year was actually one of the exceptions to that thing, but however, it was Corbin and Reigns, which went on
Jesus
a million.
Christ.
Yeah, like that even carried over
the whole
to the
year.
Royal Rumble. Yeah, that even carried over to the Royal Rumble. So
yes,
if you want to count that, you can. I remember
they carried that shit over from right when SmackDown went to Fox all the way to them wrestling all over the building in I think it was Minute Maid Park.
Right.
So, yeah. You're right. They do this to death.
I think as far as like Reigns and McIntyre, like, just look at both of these guys, right? Vince McMahon, like, dude, he couldn't find two more Vince McMahon ass champions if he tried. Big, tall, muscular, long, dark hair with beards, muscly.
Yes, these are Kevin Nash's kids.
This is quite interesting if you ask me. But yeah,
and then one of the guys that he loves just a hair less is Seth Rollins.
Right, but that's because
it's not big enough.
A little shorter,
right?
And not as big,
right?
So,
right.
Yeah.
So we established this. He loves Kevin Nash the most, and he loves these guys a notch below, and then Seth is two notches below Kevin Nash. Yes.
Right. Yeah, man. It's hard to fake excitement about this.
Yeah, you know you're getting fucked. You just know it. I'm not going to beat one of these two. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I think you're going to get 3/4 of a pretty decent match, and then I think that last quarter is just going to be, I don't know. It's not going to be fun at the end.
Oh yeah, another thing we didn't mention. We mentioned all the people that could pop through running. We forgot to mention, the Uso slaves. So that could also come into play as well.
That's true. Except Jay is actually in the Survivor Series match.
Oh,
so if he gets beat down, well, sure, he could win that match and then come out again.
Daniel Bryan not booked for the show. It looks like
he's out on the Survivor
he just
Series
came
team?
back. He just came back tonight, I think. Right?
He had a match.
So he had a match with Jey Uso.
Look, they're setting it up, James.
Yeah,
they're setting it up.
They sure are.
You see it.
Yeah. So how many weeks was he gone after they beat him down? Was that like 2 weeks? He was off?
3 weeks.
3 weeks? Okay. At least they're doing that. At least they're putting in the groundwork where someone can sell an injury. That's nice of them.
I saw Fightful put up a tweet it sounded like it read like they were surprised that this happened. They were like, Daniel Bryan, after being gone for 3 weeks, put in all caps banger on with Jey Uso. I'm like, he's maybe the greatest wrestler this country's ever produced. Like, this isn't even like
right.
Like, do you expect anything else? Like, what the fuck? Like,
you know what I think it is? I think it's because, like,
bro, they've de-emphasized him and de-pushed him so much. People are believing this man is washed or something. Like,
yeah, is like, I think a lot. Yeah, you're right. It absolutely comes down to he has been fucked with so much for the last 5 years that like when he has great matches, which like given it, like the number of matches he has, like his ratio for great matches in WWE is sky fucking high. But like still is like, oh yeah, he still does do this. Like he still is fucking awesome. Damn, I wish he went somewhere else, but he's stuck here. And he doesn't want to leave because like it'll probably fuck up his relationship with his wife's relationship with this company. So he won't even get into that because he's such a nice guy. I feel bad for him. And then you think about it more, you're like, damn, I feel bad for all these people. Fuck. So let's I don't know where you want to go from.
Oh, can we talk about the Undertaker real quick?
Sure, why not?
This is
it's part of the show. You might as well.
Yeah, this is the show for the Undertaker. I have never seen them.
God.
I have never seen them. Okay,
he's gonna make a save for somebody in the main event, isn't he?
I don't know, man, but this is like 30 years of the Undertaker or some shit, bro. I feel like what is this? This is November. We're 20 days into the month, right? They've been since October. They have milked this shit more than like the 2008 Celtics have milked that one championship with the Undertaker. They've done this fake Last Dance documentary. They have this man getting booked on Hot Ones. They have him doing spreads in People magazine. They basically have done a whole event for this man set to happen. They have this man on Cameo charging $1,000. If you bought a $1,000 Undertaker Cameo, shame on you. Bro, I've never seen them running something into the ground this far. Oh, he joined TikTok this month. Like, what the fuck is going on with this man? Like,
this is the midlife crisis of Mark Calloway, right? This is pretty bad.
Fuck out of here, B. Like, you got to go home. How they said on The Godfather, you got to go home. Like, we ain't trying to see it no more, man.
So, does he have a match?
No.
Is he hosting?
Bro, he gave some interview. He's like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
I think it's just going to be like video packages, and maybe he comes out to the ring. But I'm gonna make a prediction here, and this is something that I've been kicking around how they're going to do this. And I think James, you brought up him maybe making a save in the main event. What I think is going to happen is this. Tying back into my earlier Brock prediction. This is my super bullshit prediction. Brock Lesnar is going to come out, and he's going to try to interrupt the main event. Everything's going to go pitch black. The gong hits. Undertaker, Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Book it.
Oh my God! Not
Undertaker gets his win back.
Oh my God! Oh, they also did a photo shoot where everybody.
No, fuck that, Rich. No. Time out. We put whatever you can get to whatever you get to, but I got to say this. So we're getting a 30 years of Undertaker thing, 30th anniversary show, Undertaker Survivor Series. He's doing all this pub saying this is his last thing, and ultimately what it leads to is for another match. No,
yes.
It has to.
Nobody believes you. You need more people. That's why no one has cared about this shit for like this month and a half that has been happening. Rich Crazy at Voice of Wrestling wrote a great column like, why doesn't anyone care about this shit? Like,
because they beat it to death over the last 5 years. Like, if he had ended it after the Brock Lesnar feud in 2015, then it's like fine. Or hell, when he actually really did the fucking retirement thing after WrestleMania 33, he had a shitty match. He laid his hat and his garb in the ring, and the shit went black and all that. Right when the final bell told him the shit, like perfect send off. He came back for the unfucking advertised match that John Cena like cut promos for a month. Right,
some of the best promos
Yeah.
Like, bro, like John Cena built the entire WrestleMania around John Cena. Like the whole show is built like into place around Cena. Like everyone else kept just getting checked off or whatever. And then it was like, this is what y'all did to Cena. Like, oh my God, I hope Cena never comes back.
So,
fuck that.
I got a question for you guys. Right? Do y'all remember that like after Charlotte and Asuka had a goddamn incredible match? the best women's match in WrestleMania history. She wins. Asuka says, Charlotte, you are ready for Asuka. Congratulations. Charlotte gets her shining moment. A motherfucker comes down to Cena ringside, says that he's here. Cena jumps over the barricade into the ringside area, sprints up the ramp past Charlotte, thereby stepping on her moment that she just had. And everybody, they cut to Asuka in the ring looking like, what the fuck? Like, I got a question. When one has the ability to teleport, how does one know when someone is in the building?
I've never understood. Well, I'll say this. So there have been times in WWE where they've shown, like we saw during the Money in the Bank thing, Undertaker got his own office, like at WWE headquarters. So like whenever they see and when they opened that door, they saw them purple lights or whatever and all that shit. So I imagine backstage, like there is somebody on the lookout for whenever the purple lights come around. And what happened is the purple lights lit up, so they knew the Undertaker was there.
That's a lot of explaining.
That is such a cockamamie story that I actually was entertained by it, so I'll allow it. And you just know, his office, he's like, where would the lights come up from? It's the light. It'll light up in the office right next to Vince's office backstage, motherfucker. You know this. I'll even add on to the story. Yes, yeah. That's that. Yes. So yeah, I don't know where we go from here. I don't know. Yeah. This is creeping off the rails.
I will say that I do vividly remember that moment that you're talking about. I was in the building 34.
AJ was shook because AJ had just got buried and came back. Do you remember this? Do you remember when AJ came back after getting buried to death?
Yes.
This man said verbatim, I quote, I was buried. So what?
Bro, this has been the longest year, bro. I don't remember half of the stuff that's happened. Yeah.
Well, I mean, now in some cases that's a positive.
Yeah. But yeah, Undertaker. I don't believe it. I'm sure he'll be back again. I've never seen such a rebrand for somebody. Somebody's interested in making sure the Undertaker looks good. Oh, they also had Stone Cold to interview him or whatever. That's on the
Broken Skull Sessions. Yeah,
yes, they had him and Randy Orton do some documentary or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that after a pay-per-view. I think it was Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, maybe. Bro, they did everything to try to get you to give a fuck.
Listen, until Mark Calloway's dead, I don't believe that the Undertaker's is going to be gone. I just don't believe it.
Same.
I have nothing to say there. Can we move on to the actual card? Non-wrestling motherfucker. I love Undertaker death, but bro, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Apparently, I heard Savio Vega was supposed to be booked or something.
I'm sorry. What?
Yes. So for the Undertaker's show, Savio Vega is
look,
booked.
I understand he was in the Bone Street Crew, but what?
Yeah. Savio Vega supposedly is booked for Survivor Series. Yeah. It's former WWE superstar returning for the Undertaker farewell.
It's probably just going to be part of a video package, I'd imagine. I can't imagine that there's going to be anything more than that.
Savio Vega has wrestled in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
He was wrestling MLW, right, Rich?
Yep. Yeah, he's gonna be there. So they're gonna are they gonna bring the rest of the Bone Street Crew?
The Godfather?
Yeah. The sad thing about the Bone Street Crew,
they can't bring back Yokozuna.
A lot of them dudes is dead.
Right.
I was gonna say,
sorry,
Crush,
my bad.
Mr. Fuji, Paul Bearer. They may bring back the Godwins. Rikishi. They may bring back Rikishi. I mean, they bring back Rikishi all the time. So. Yeah. Speaking
of that, has Rikishi showed up to pay tithes to the tribal chief?
I don't think he has.
Or do you think he's nah, my boys are slaves. I'm not doing this.
He already knows what it is. He's already had it beat out of him. Rikishi already knows what it is.
He's I'm not showing up to no angle where my boys are slaves. I got you mine. I'm not doing this.
kind of working as it is.
Okay. What's the next match next down? Would it be the women's match? Would it be the IC match? Would it be the either of the Survivor Series matches? Where do you want to go?
We can talk about the women's one. Let's go to the women's one.
I heard this shit is like one of the weakest matches, like Survivor Series matches of like the modern era.
Bro,
are you talking about the team, the women's team, Raw versus SmackDown?
Yeah.
Oh, it's bad.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I will say, well, the SmackDown roster.
Give us the list. Give us the list. Give them
so they just finalized the SmackDown one today, but the Raw one was originally Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lana, Dana Brooke, and Mandy Rose. Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose are both injured and are replaced by Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce.
So Shayna, Nia, Lana, Lacey Evans, and Peyton Royce.
That's correct.
The great women's division, huh?
All right, and what's the SmackDown side?
The SmackDown one is Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Natalya, and Bayley.
Yo,
feels like the SmackDown one is much better. I think she might be injured because she's not been on TV in a while.
Because I know where Becky Lynch and Charlotte are. They're away. But like, where's Naomi? All right.
Oscar or Sasha better not get hurt. Hey, boy, it is thin.
Yeah, they're running thin on women in the main roster for sure. I mean, they're repackaged.
No. They are stacked and they are loaded, and don't you dare fucking touch NXT, please.
Listen,
leave the only thing I still love about this fucking company alone. Don't you dare fucking touch it.
I love the NXT women's roster, James.
Jesus Christ.
But the main roster, I think, is struggling right now.
I was talking about a scam earlier. Boy, you already know what it is. So, like, you know, in NXT, for example, I'm just looking at this team. So we got Peyton Royce, Lacey Evans, Lana. I'm gonna just go through the people that I'm just like, Lana, Nia Jax. Ruby's good. Liv Morgan has gotten better, but it's like y'all clearly shouldn't be on the main roster. Like,
yeah,
clearly, they're being rushed through developmental, whether it's for cosmetic reasons, whether it's for you don't want to have the women down in developmental that long, but you want to get them to a certain level. It seems like it's easier for women to get through to the main. Like, you don't ever hear about a Johnny Gargano situation with the women, like where they want to stay NXT for life or whatever. But
well, I mean, as far as I don't know. I know that Ember Moon's back in NXT. I know that. So maybe there are. Look, there's some tells me that like the good women in NXT or the on the main roster that don't get used, like a Ruby Riott, chances are they don't want, or Mia Yim being the fucking Reckoning or whatever else, or I don't even know where Mercedes is right now, but like I'm sure that like they're looking at what they're doing on the main roster and then like what they were doing NXT, and they're all like, man, it is clear. So I wouldn't go that far, but I would just say it's like, yo, this is going like that on paper is pathetic.
I think Mercedes is away because of COVID fear, because she's asthmatic and I think her son is also high risk. So I think she's off TV for now. She made that decision.
That is interesting because she had wrestled on NXT the whole time, and the homie, well, not the homie. Let's get it straight. He's not the homie, but the head ref Drake and the Road Dogg do not believe in COVID at all. They think this shit is a hoax, even though they keep having people catch this shit at their wrestling school. So
he's getting the hoax.
Yeah. So that's surprising that like if that is the reason, it's like I would like to know like what was the tipping point that made it say that we have gone from I'll try to hell no, I'm done for now.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it was her being in that angle and then realizing like, hey, we actually can't fight any of the men, so like, why am I here? Like, and she probably was like, requested to just not get caught up with them or whatever. Yeah, but I'm working around this concept. I'm cracking it around like, but there's clearly a pattern, or there are clearly things you can point at, like with the developmental process of who they let through from developmental with the women, and that's why we keep ending up with sorry Team Raws year after year after fucking year, and it's like, oh.
Yeah,
because I remember last year they had like one wrestler worth a damn, and I think it was like Sasha or whatever, or Sasha was SmackDown last year, I think. Yeah, so match is gonna stink.
Probably. That's if I had to wager. I'd wager that it sucked. I mean, unless we're just gonna have like, unless they're gonna have it be the Shayna show, or Nia actually like is good Nia, which we rarely ever see. Don't really think much is gonna happen in this match, because they could, Nia when they actually give a fuck and Nia gives a fuck, she can have a good match in the right situation. But the problem, and they're going to set up for, she eliminates a bunch of people, or she has some monster spot where she is taken out of, which means, she's going to run into something, but we'll see what they do.
So who's going to be the first person that gets like that immediate elimination?
It's going to be Lana.
Because they love to do that.
Nia Jax is going to put Lana through the announce table and she'll get counted out. That's my prediction for Lana. They've been doing that. She's put her through an announce table like 9 weeks in a row. Yeah. I mean, why stop now? So
it's going to happen with them, hopefully.
Let's see. What's SmackDown team again? Sasha and who else? Sasha, Bianca, Bailey.
Bailey.
Not Sasha, but
Bailey,
Bianca, Bailey, Natalya.
And Riot and Morgan.
Oh, Morgan's getting thrown out first.
I'm going to take Natalya to get the Flash loss.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, so the men, Raw, Team Raw.
What's we got? I don't know the teams.
Okay, so Team Raw, team captain, I guess AJ Styles, Keith Lee.
Have they been fighting over captaincy again? These fucking morons.
I don't think they've been fighting over it per se, but AJ just kind of made himself the captain, cool. And everyone seems pretty not okay with it. But
more locker room leadership shit. Who gives a fuck? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we got AJ Styles, we got Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Riddle. And then they're taking on Team SmackDown. Kevin Owens actually booked. Jey Uso, Corbin, Seth Rollins, and Otis, who was added tonight. Where the fuck is Tucker?
I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, not a part of it.
Yeah, isn't he on Raw?
He is.
Yeah.
So why is Otis here? They took
on SmackDown.
They took the briefcase off that man, and then it's like, fuck off, be done with him. Like, where's Daniel Bryan? Like, like what the fuck is this? Like,
I mean, you could have put Miz and Morrison in this match too. I'm not sure why they're not booked. You could do like Miz and Otis on opposite sides to play a story there. You could put Otis and Tucker on opposite sides to play a story there. It just seems like they just kind of said, okay, who's not doing anything that wants to do something.
Okay.
And just kind of threw it together.
Kevin Owens wrestled Seth Rollins this year.
Right. I get what you're saying about that, Josh. But my solution to it would be, well, we have this storyline beat and we want to put it into Survivor Series or whatever. So that means we need to open up slots for 2 of the 3 of Miz, Tucker, and Otis, to do that. I would suggest if that's the case, how about you Instead of, putting Tucker or Miz in there to face off Otis, how about you take Otis out the match and don't do it at fucking all, because who cares? It's too low.
That's a great alternative.
It's too low on the totem pole to give a fuck about something like that. Like, the Hurt Business ain't on this fucking thing, right? Like,
that's true.
The Mysterios aren't on this thing. It's goofy. Like, they've been doing, like, bro, this will be I guess Monday Night Raw will be the 1 year anniversary of when they started the Mysterio and Seth feud, when he was a dick to him after Team Raw lost.
Right.
So you could play to that where they're on the same team again, and then they turn each other in. Like, I mean, they've done this well. Like, in 2016 Survivor Series, we had AJ and Dean Ambrose going at it in the middle of that great ass match. Like, they could do this. They've done this before. They're just fucking lazy.
Yeah.
So whatever. Like,
so who's the Flash elimination here?
Well, they did it to Riddle last year, right? So,
well, they did it to Walter last year, and then
they did Walter and Riddle last year.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Walter has had the best match by a country mile this year in WWE. So fuck it. I'll go with Otis. He's already done. Fuck else they gonna do? Just beat him.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, I was actually thinking something like bigger, like AJ Styles gets the quick elimination, because that man's phoning it in too. He's just doing comedy angles right now, so I could see him trying to, like.
I thought he had a bodyguard.
It's a whole, like, there was a whole thing this week about how he didn't think his bodyguard spoke English.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the not comedy angle, right? But yeah, I could see him, like, trying to, like, rally the troops, so to speak, trying to give him a pep talk, and then he gets rolled up by Jey Uso or something. And I could see that as a Flash elimination.
I think that's a good point. Like, you could do him like that. He turns around and he catches that Corbin finisher, that End of Days, or he catches a fucking stunner from from Kevin Owens. I'll laugh. Let's see. Any interesting matches? Not really. Like, I don't see Keith Lee against literally anyone on the maybe Keith Lee and Kevin Owens is kind of interesting, but Riddle and Owens. This is the first time Rollins and Riddle are in the ring together. They've had all those or Rollins was making all those snipes at Riddle. Do you think they're going to basically humble Riddle and have Seth Rollins beat him in this match? I'm pulling for anything, as y'all can tell, to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see that happening. I mean, Riddle's caused some black eye stuff for the company from a PR perspective. Why not have the locker room cheerleader Seth Rollins jump in there and put him in his place?
Oh my god. Yeah, this match is ice cold, boy. Ice cold.
It's really bad. And it's funny, I was looking at this both rosters right now just to kind of see, like, who's being left off. Right? So, like, on Raw, you could have put Ricochet in this match.
Oh man.
You could have put Garza, Carrillo, Tucker, as we mentioned, not really though. Jeff Hardy's not doing anything. You could have put R-Truth if you wanted a comedy spot. That's what they use him for. Big E's not in this match.
Huh.
Like you mentioned, Daniel Bryan. They brought Lars Sullivan out to try and pump him back up. He's not in this match. Not that I want him there, but he's not. No Shorty G. No, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura aren't doing anything. There's a lot of guys left off of this match.
Just chilling.
Hey, I mean, the Big Show's available. His show got canceled, right? Might as well throw him out there.
It did?
Yeah, no season 2 of the Big show.
Damn, poor Big Show. I know he's tired of turning heel every time he shows up. But yeah, I ain't got nothing else on this. I'll take Team Raw.
I'm gonna go SmackDown just to be different.
Yeah. Champion versus champion. Asuka versus Sasha Banks, a match that they ran into the fucking ground this summer with no finishes. And what's it set up for? Another bullshit finish. Sasha's in a feud with Carmella, I believe. Carmella has laid her out 3 weeks straight, from what I'm gathering. Carmella is dressed like a dominatrix, except she's wearing red. Yeah, man. I would be excited about this match, except I feel like it's Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins.
That's fine. Yeah, no, that's a good comparison. As far as
James,
how many times to run a match
right now.
Yeah, James is at a loss for words.
No, like y'all were into like the who's going to win what on the men's team or SmackDown versus Raw Survivor Series match. And I'm like, if you notice, I didn't give a prediction. I'm like, dude, I don't even care. Like I mean, obviously I'm detached from the thing, but it's like I'm thinking like, all right, who could get a big win and it propels them into, some momentum to get them to, Royal Rumble so they can make some noise in Royal Rumble and then get themselves to WrestleMania and have some big match. It's like, it doesn't matter because whoever they end up doing whatever with at this time, like, who knows what the fuck, they'll change their mind.
Right.
I don't know, like, this will be a nice place to, like, try to recharge the Keith Lee thing, but it feels like that's already done. Like, either one for Riddle or for Keith Lee, they pulled him out of NXT for either one was before when they had unfinished business in NXT, did nothing with them, which is like the case for almost everybody they pulled from NXT over the last 2 years. Right, and then they like, yeah, we keep pulling the top stars out of this fucking third brand, and then we'll have the third brand come up against this other thing that we want to try to curb. It's like, well, maybe you can't do both, motherfucker. Like, you can't pull out Keith Lee and Ricochet and Aleister Black and all these motherfuckers out, and then Shayna Baszler, whoever else you want to mention, and then at the same time say out you want to curb. It's like that's why your fucking teeth keep getting kicked in.
It's
whatever.
Too big to be small and too small to be big. It's like you can't keep
ridiculous.
These people in the wrestling school forever. And then, because if you do, the contract's going to come up. They're going to say, fuck you. And then they're going to walk. So you got to call them up and not do nothing with them because you don't actually want to push them.
It's fucking stupid, bro.
It's amazing.
Like,
yeah, they're still going out and getting more people off the indies, which is going to create more of a logjam.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of people headed in, supposedly. So
I don't know, but back to the
Asuka and Sasha Banks.
It's gonna be a great match. I don't know what happens. Like, they've had screwy finishes whenever they've wrestled this year. So, or let me phrase it, not screwy finishes, but like finishes that are like unsatisfying. So.
Some of the worst finishes you'll ever see in the history of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like Bailey all of a sudden becoming a referee and like counting the fall. Like,
oh my God. Was that?
I forgot about that.
I was thinking of the Kyrie, or Asuka leaves to go save Kyrie, so she wins on count out. Like, after that
dumb shit.
That was dumber. But
there's that one too. Yeah.
That was dumb. That was dumber because, like, in a right circumstance with any other promotion, like that finish can work. But this promotion is so fucked that it's like, no, that's dumb. We ain't even gonna give you no benefit of the doubt. You're gonna screw this up. And then the finish they had at SummerSlam, where like, she has the back-to-back matches with, or not back-to-back, but she has like 2 matches with Sasha and with Bayley. And then, like, Sasha, what was the story? I'm blanking. Like, both of them basically were on the apron when they weren't in the match, and the other one's match. One of them bit the bullet. Sasha bit the bullet for Bayley, I believe. And then, Bayley not only didn't bite the bullet, but, like, had nothing to do. Sasha just lost on her own. So it's like, or maybe I remember, but basically, like, they were going for one thing, and the way in execution, it didn't make sense for the story they were telling anyway. So it's like, yeah, they've had 3 just dumb finishes in matches they've had this year. So, like,
not to mention a zillion TV matches with, like, no finish.
Yeah, those are 2 of them, or no, 1 of them.
Wasn't there one where there was a DQ where, like, somebody hit, like, the manager,
outside the ring or something,
outside the ring, and they called the DQ for hitting the person that wasn't
they've only
competing?
had 3 matches this year.
Bro, they've wrestled on Raw at least 3 times.
Like in singles matches or like tag stuff too? Because I know they have a bunch of tags.
Say singles. Hold on, I will find.
I mean, either way, like I don't know. Like it's gonna be. It seems like a perfect like time for them to have interference because like you mentioned Carmella looming.
All right, they have had 5 or 4 singles matches. It looks like
plus the tag matches.
Yeah.
So there's one I'm forgetting. Okay, so but anyway, like just like similar to the main event, or we think is the main event. Like, nah, that's gonna be an event. McIntyre versus Roman. That's the main event, definitely. So, question. Now that you mention that, where is The Fiend? Where is Randy Orton?
I mean, not booked.
Maybe they're doing something with The Undertaker.
Jesus. Anyway, Asuka, Kyrie, Asuka and Sasha, they'll have a good match until whatever wacky finish they come up with. So, like, I just go ahead and pencil in 3.75, and then if you get a clean finish, you might be able to give it another, half or quarter or half star. Wow.
Tag team match: New Day versus Street Profits. All the black dudes link up. I've called the tag team division the waiting room to be fired, but I don't think either of these teams are getting fired. They had kind of an interesting exchange on the fleets on Twitter where they were talking back and forth, a bunch of junk to each other. That was very interesting, the short part I saw, but like, I don't know, man. Kofi Kingston feels very overqualified for this. But then again, whatever.
How does Xavier look since he came back?
I think people were saying he's looking good.
He looks pretty good. From what I've seen, he's looked pretty good.
All right. Well, I mean, these 4 should have a good match together. So that's actually like the only like fresh sounding matchup that I've heard so far. So, but it's a tag match, that shit might get a good 7 minutes. But they should have a good match. So like that's at least a match I'm looking forward to between 2 people with, an established act versus an act that like clearly Vince likes. So, and also like they're talented, so and try hard every time I've ever seen them. So I hopefully they let them do their thing.
Have you caught any of these segments, Josh?
I've seen a little bit of the backstage stuff that they've done. Kind of, some of that stuff. I haven't seen any of the fleets because I've kind of joked that I'm kind of like a boomer on social media. Like anything outside of Facebook is kind of foreign to me. Like I'm C+ at Twitter, but an A+ at Facebook. I know it's kind of weird as a 30-year-old man saying that, but I think when I had children, I automatically jumped to that status. But yeah, no, everything's been pretty good. Caught a little bit of their 8-man tonight, which was them, the New Day and the Street Profits against Ziggler, Rude, Corbin, and Zayn. I've always been a huge fan of the Street Profits. Going back to seeing them on the Loop at Minerick Hall, always super cool guys. Always hung out and talked to us afterwards. I don't know that I've seen anyone jump off the top rope as high as I've seen Montez Ford do it. And I've seen him do it in like the St. Pete Armory where like that ceiling is only like 6 feet above the turnbuckle. So I like both of these teams a lot. I think they're going to honestly, because I don't see them having a schmozzy finish. Like this could be your one clean finish of the night. I think this is probably the best match on the card.
I think it could be the best match. I think this past week, Dave Meltzer, all the wrestling that he said he's watched in his life, and he said Montez Ford is the greatest jumper in the history that he's ever seen wrestling. So
that's pretty high praise from him.
Yeah.
That's also vaguely specific. It's like, who's the best jumper you've ever seen in wrestling? Like, I don't know. What kind of... Go somewhere, you weirdo. Who thinks about some shit like that? I just like, who's the biggest jumper you've ever seen? Like, nigga, I don't know. Anyway, I've never... Have you ever thought about that before? Have you ever thought of either one of y'all?
When Montez Ford jumps that high, like, he's up there. Like, I can't really think of nobody like...
He is, but it's never something I've ever thought about, like, let me, like, think about it, or whatever, try to, use my memory, go through my mental Rolodex and
this
really think about it.
Dave. Like he thinks about shit like this all the time. I'm gonna take the Street Profits on this.
Yeah,
young guys win.
They should win.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Let's make it a clean sweep there.
Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn, heel versus heel match. I felt like Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn should be banned from being on screen together after the Bobby Lashley sisters fiasco a couple years ago.
I've been trying to forget that one, Rich.
Yeah. I wrote a big column at the time. I was not pleased with that. And yeah, man, it was the situations are different now though. Lashley's in the Hurt Business. He's kind of in a somewhat interesting act. Zayn's a madman. This is WWE. Big beats little.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with that. And also, too, the Hurt Business has been getting a lot of push. It doesn't really make sense to have Bobby Lashley lose here, I think, which maybe is why he loses. But, fuck? No, I'm just saying. It makes sense for him to win, so that's why he would lose. I'm just trying to think.
WWE literally booked like that all the time.
That's why I blasted out that and blurted out, because it's like, that is so dumb, and they will absolutely do that.
Right.
That's absolutely a possibility with them.
Gotta throw him off, pal.
I mean, Sami Zayn, he beat who did he wrestle last week? He tied up Apollo Crews. He tied him up in the ring, like the apron, and got a win by a count out. So, Sammy's winning all these different cheater kind of ways. But I think the way that they've been pushing the Hurt Business, it hurts Bobby Lashley to lose. It doesn't hurt Sammy to lose at all, because he's the chicken shit heel. So I'm going to go Bobby Lashley.
So is there going to be a spot where like the rest of the Hurt Business surrounds the ring, and then they force Zayn to get in there and wear that ass whooping?
Yeah, probably like a makeshift lumberjack match or something, kind of on the fly. Yeah. But I mean, the rest of the Hurt Business isn't.
Like, need a shield.
Right. The rest of the Hurt Business isn't booked on the card, so there's no reason for them to not be ringside.
I think that's the whole card, man. That's booked, and then of course there's the dual brand battle royal. Who gives a fuck? That Survivor Series. Did that sound exciting to y'all at all? Like, hopefully we got y'all excited for it.
Compare that to last year with NXT invading, and you got Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne. You got the final two between Roman Reigns and Keith Lee. You got Rhea Ripley going fucking nuts. You got the short little exchange between Io and Kyrie. And then you also had the tag team match. And you had Roddy going nuts and making sure that AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura had a good-ass match. It's like, why didn't they bring NXT into this again?
Well, COVID.
Yeah, I think the reason
because WWE cares so much about COVID-19.
Yes, like they don't want NXT mixing with the main roster, because like NXT's had all the breakouts.
Well, I can tell you that's probably
the main roster had tons of breakouts themselves. If you want to say, if you want to say they've had more, sure.
Yeah,
well, that's
like
also because Drake is running NXT down there. So I mean, like he's running all the talent relation stuff. So
there's coaches getting that shit. There's like they got a bunch of shit going on. Like so. That's pretty much why they don't, and that's why they're doing 205 Live at Full Sail, same deal, or not Full Sail as PC.
Yeah, what do they call it? Capital Sports Arena or something.
See, I don't even bother.
Capital Sports Complex or something like
that. Something like that. Yeah, I mean, for me, like if you want to explain, it's real simple, and you can even just say, NXT is not participating in Survivor Series this year because they're quarantining in a different location than the main roster. Just make up some bullshit thing like that.
No, they don't have to explain it. There was no invasion this year. So they have to
guess that if you want to say it's not an invasion, but they haven't even mentioned it at all from what I've seen.
Well, what can they say is like, nah, NXT is not allowed to wrestle because they kicked too much ass last year. Because they won.
Sure.
Look,
they
it's so funny.
That would make them look so. That would make SmackDown and Raw seem so lame. Like, nah.
Doesn't that look even dumber now? Like how hard they put them over last year.
I don't think it's dumb. I just think it's like, hey, if you're going to do it 1 year, you have to do it, for enough years. Like, you have to have them at least come back and like give the win back.
Right. Which they're not doing. So,
right.
I mean, there's no good reason for it. Other than if you want to make the COVID excuse.
Well, I mean, to be honest, there's no reason.
They move so many people around.
There's no good reason to do any of this. Like, they just did a fucking draft back in October, and then they have to feud with each other after, like, these alliances just got split up, and people were just on brands a month ago to talk about how they bleed red or bleed blue. They didn't do any invasions this week or this year, did they? Or someone?
No.
Okay, because it's like y'all are all working out of the same buildings, Like,
right.
So,
what's funny, I actually saw Brian. Go ahead, Rich.
No, you go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say Brian Gewirtz actually he tweeted out something about how he's at that same point that you just made, James, about how do you care about your brand when you just got drafted here a month ago?
Oh,
like it doesn't make any sense.
I'm not the first person to think of this. Like, it's just common sense.
Yeah.
Like, if you're okay, let's do this. I always talk about this. I talk about this with Rich often. Every year, Kevin Owens and The Miz are on opposite brands, and they get flopped back and forth. They're never on the same brand. And also, Rich, this is the first year where Kevin Owens will be on the better brand. He finally gets to win because he's on SmackDown. But,
That's funny.
Yeah, it's just like if they get traded every single year. Kevin Owens every single year is going to be on SmackDown or on Raw. Why does he give a fuck when he knows like a month or 11 months from now he'll be on the other brand? Who gives a shit? But they don't think like that because these aren't people. These are just people doing things. Like, these aren't people that go through that. Like, they could make a story. They could absolutely make a storyline about that with Kevin Owens, where he's like, I don't care. I'm in here and like I'm a mercenary because I get swapped every single year. I don't care. They could make. They
literally could do a story like that,
but they don't because they're lazy.
Yeah, like
they don't remember the stuff they do because that means they will have to commit to it.
Yeah, why
and if they have to commit to it, that means they can't tell ridiculous, stupid fucking stories. I'm getting angry. Let's just stop.
It's amazing. It's amazing why we don't watch this company.
It bothers me so much because there is no company that has more talent that I actually enjoy watching wrestle or do wrestling and stuff like cut promos or do angles than the main roster or WWE. Yet and still, Vince McMahon and Drew Pritchard have fucked this up so much that I have no interest in them whatsoever. To where we just did a basically close to an hour-long Survivor Series preview, and I'm just like, man, for all of it. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, two guys that are great wrestlers. Man, Asuka versus Sasha, two wrestlers that are so influential to what I watch wrestling right now. Man, like it's just fucking just sad, bro. It's like and I'm the only one that feels this way. I'm like, bro, what is going on? What has happened here? I don't get it. It makes no sense.
I have disconnected myself from like being angry about this. Like I've just like taken the path like, wow, it's just holding up the mirror and be like, y'all will see this. Like I like this company is a shell of itself. They're a content factory. There's no incentive for them to try to do better. They have their built-in audience. They have their sterile environment that they control with the video boards and shit and the piped-in noise. They have their drama play with Roman Reigns doing, you know, tons of dialogue in the middle of it. Like, this is what they want wrestling to be. Like, and I want something different from wrestling, so that's why I watch other companies.
But the thing for me that just like boggles the mind is the fact is like that may be what you want to do, WWE, Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, but it's not what most people that have watched your product over the last, I don't know, let's say since the Hogan era, so like over the last 35 years, right? So if you're going to try to move it so far from what you did over the last 35 years to more success than you're currently doing it at, like, you're the problem, and I don't understand how you don't realize this and then unfuck yourself.
They don't know they're the problem because there's a bunch of ass kissers, and then they also like invent a bunch of fake metrics to like tell them what they want to get out of something. It's literally like the Trump administration.
No, but the thing is this,
like,
right?
They would never know that they're the issue.
If I'm in a business to make money and I make up fake metrics to sucker other people into giving me money, that's one thing. It's another thing when you come a mark for your own fake numbers.
That seems like that's
what they're doing, and that's why it makes no fucking sense. Because Vince, you know, you've heard people talk about with Vince, especially Meltzer. It's like Vince is the first person to be like, "Look, bro, whatever's coming up right now that like we're giving to other people, like that's bullshit, and we're going to slap some heads with. That's fine, but I'm not buying into that bullshit." He's buying into his own bullshit, literally.
And washed, you know.
We need another word besides washed.
I mean, to me, it's like, you know, it's textbook narcissism, right? I mean, he's lied to himself so much about how great he is that anything he says is immediately an amazing idea in his head. You know, it sucks because, like you said, James, there are so many people here that are super, super talented that should be given the spotlight and the ability to go out and put on a good wrestling show.
But how great are his ideas when he thinks of pulling someone out for 3 weeks and then changes his mind in 3 weeks? Like, you can't believe your own bullshit when you keep second guessing and hedging on what you think are your great ideas. What the fuck's going on here? I'm gonna push this guy. Wait, never mind. Just playing. LOLJK.
Right.
What's going on? Dementia.
It could be. I mean, there could be some of that.
I'm not going to say it again because I don't feel like ending it off from a previous show. But yeah, there's some slush. You can pour that. I'm sure you can pour the contents of what's in that skull into a cup.
So like WWE is going to be in the trop for the Thunderdome.
No, I'm not going to even fucking insult me by asking. don't even fucking insult me by asking.
So right next to Jamie's house. What's up, Jamie? But is somebody gonna bring Vince to South St. Pete?
Oh shit! No.
It should. I think Vince will fit in well. You know, he'll walk around. Yeah, I think Vince will go in there and turn some heads. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, we get that. I believe there was a suggestion. It was like the South Side of St. Pete street fight. You get one of those.
Look, man, nobody actually calls it the South Side St. Pete street fight. They call it the Bird. So it's not even. But then they're like, how do we?
You got to make it sound.
Then you have to explain what the Bird is, and it's like, no, we don't want to do that. So yeah, we'll call it the South Side St. Pete street fight.
You got to make it sound more dangerous. Not the Houston Heat. We need the Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
You ever heard that story?
Yeah.
Okay. Those of you that haven't, so I think they were trying to come up with a name for Harlem Heat, and it was like, well, we from Houston, and it was like we needed to sound like scarier, code. So y'all gonna be the Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
But I guess there's only one thing left to do since we're done with WWE. We might as well just hop on the plane and take the 12-hour nap and wake up and hit the music.
Okay, so Stardom had its second biggest show of the year. It was on the 15th last Sunday. It was called Sendai Cinderella. 8 matches, 5 title matches. So what are your initial thoughts on the show, Rich and Josh?
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. So just a little. This is actually, James, believe it or not, the first time I ever sat down and watched a Stardom pay-per-view front to back without stopping. I loved it. I thought it was a pretty good show. I thought there's some really good matches. There was 1 or 2 that didn't really strike my fancy as much. But no, overall I really enjoyed the show.
Okay.
It felt like actually a real show because usually the Stardom shows are short. Usually I feel like they're like either 5 or 6 matches. This one is like, there's
8.
You get your big 3 matches on top, and then big, middle match with Momo, and you got your stuff that's getting the card started underneath with various high speed matches and future of Stardom, Hoss battle between Micah and Lil Saya. So it had a structure that most Stardom shows don't have, but I thought it was I was into it for sure, at least through the first 5 matches.
Okay.
But, I had a long day, so I was struggling, but a lot of interesting stuff happened.
Yeah, this was a very good show. But it wasn't as I'll say it might even be a more complete show than the Yokohama show from October 3rd. Like, I feel like every match was at the worst good on this card, where a couple matches were kind of just like filler. Like, Mina comes out and debuts in Stardom and she beats the hell out of Hannon. Like, fine, whatever. It's kind of a nothing match. But like the white belt match and the red belt match on the last show, the Yokohama show, was just like when you crank out 4.5 star matches back to back, it just feels different than just the consistency. So like it peaked higher, but this was a more consistent show. But I still believe that the Yokohama show was a clearly the better show. But yeah, so do you want to go through it, or do you want to just go to the big news first before we go through it?
Shit, I guess we should do the big news and I'll tie into the main event.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Mayu Iwatani lost the red belt to Utami Hayashishita.
The rise of Big U.
Yeah, Utami is... she won the... I'm trying to think of... she's basically won... She won the red belt basically within 2 years of being in the company.
Did this shock you, James?
2 years.
I was like...
2 years of change. Basically like 27 months. I'm shocked because... One, I was completely unspoiled for this big show, which is like, I don't know how the hell that happened. I don't know. Like, I don't know how
Come
that
on, Murray,
happened.
get on your job.
I got so lucky. Like, normally, like, it comes out the woodworks to come spoil something. Like, I had a Cork and Hall show on Saturday and this show on Sunday, and was completely on spoiling all of it. And I wasn't even, like, necessarily trying super hard to avoid the spoilers. You know, normally I'm almost, like, damn near and, put my phone away. Like, put my phone in the trunk. It's just until I can watch the show. But nah, I'm surprised because one thing I knew about Stardom before that I probably should not have known, but had nothing to do with spoiling anything, was that I found out that they are going to do the 10th anniversary show at Budokan Hall. And you think about it, it's like the whole video that they did with it is highlighting the ace of the company, the biggest star in the company, Mayu, out in front of Budokan Hall, and they showed like a video montage of her career where she is the runt of the litter. A lot of people, like people that were in the dojo with her in that first class, thought that she was going to quit on the first day. She's the last person out of that class to win a match. It took her like 6 months or 7 months to win a match. And then she continued to get her ass whooped for another like 3 years before she actually got a push. And then, she goes from there and, she becomes one of the best wrestlers in the world, and the rest is history. But, and they show it down the video montage. So for me, it's like shocking because it's like, you look at the rest,
era.
Right. You look at the rest of the you look at the company, you look at the wrestlers, their skill level, and you hear about like some of their marketability levels, and you hear about who's getting pushed, and it's like, okay, Utami's a top, is in their top 5 for who they want to push to the top, right? Is she there yet? No. Is like through her, like as far as from her, the quality of match she can have in the main events, is she there yet? No. So like I'm concerned on that. Like, but as far as how much they like her and how they've pushed her consistently for her the 2 years she's been around, like she was in the final for the Grand Prix, weeks after she debuted as a rookie. Lost to Mayu in the final actually. She won the tag league months later with Momo. They won the tag titles. By January of that year, she debuted in August of 2018. By the time she gets to January, she beats Starlight Kid for the Futures belt. She holds on to that until she's tired of it and hangs it up back in February of this year. She's been a trios champion. She's had, before this, she had a white belt defense and 1 red belt defense. And, like, on her 3rd try for one of the major belts, she's a champion. So, like, that is not out of nowhere. It's consistent. It makes sense. But as far as, what the company seems to want to do with the top of the card, and as far as trying to attract towards
also one thing you
I don't
mention.
know where they're going, because, like, I thought that, like, she's a perfectly fine challenger for, in a normal year. But it's like Mayu's run has been so ridiculous that it's like the only people that can really take the belt off her would be like Shuri or like some outside force that comes in like some type of freelancing Joshi legend. It seemed like that's like that would make sense to me in my head. But I mean, if you're going to pick somebody on the roster, Utami's as good as anybody. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to feel about it. They had a great match, but I still don't know how to feel about it in the future. This feels more like, it feels like it's too soon, but whatever.
So one thing you didn't mention, and probably for, it may not be important, but I think it is in context of the new money coming into the company, and Utami has completely overhauled her look in the past, I don't know, maybe
beginning of this year.
Months.
Beginning of this year.
Yeah, the beginning of this year, and like she looks like a totally different wrestler than she did a year ago.
Yeah.
She's got a little bit of like, it feels like, they're like they've clearly pushed her from day one. Feels like some Okada type, stuff. Like as far as like, yo, we earmarked this person. It's time to get them going. And maybe since they did that profile with Mayu, 'cause I watched the same one you did. Maybe she's actually the challenger on the 10-year anniversary show, and that's how they do this. And then they give Tommy this belt. Mayu kind of heals up, does some tasks for a couple months, and then they get ready for a super match, at the 10-year.
Could be. I mean, because, you look at the finish of the match.
It was decisive. It was like Utami, she didn't just go for the win. She went for the kill. Like, she's like, I'm not pinning her the second time. I'm giving her this bomb or whatever the fuck it was. I was like, oh, that's it. Yeah.
Well, I was talking about, like, the post-match. Like, clearly, like, the whole match, and this also ties into what Mayu has done in a few of her title defenses, like, especially against Takumi, was, like, she basically sells her ass off throughout the match. A particular body part, what gets Momo was the arm, her with her torn rotator cuff. Against, I'm trying to think, what other title defenses she have? I can't remember what happened in the Jungle match, but like this match in particular, she was selling her neck over and over and over. Oh, Shuri. Against Shuri, she just sold it like she was concussed. So this time she sells her neck, and Utami just goes to work and kills her and throws her in her head and neck and shoulders all throughout the match. And they tease ref stoppages at different points. So Mayu would answer back in some of these matches where like she's taking people's best shots, and then like she would catch people off guard and survive with with the heart of a champion, blah 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 blah. With for example, the rack that Utami had her in early in the match, and then she transfers out of that and turns it into a crucifix bomb. Like that's what she does. Like before she went up for the final, the second to final power bomb, she escapes. She gets her up, and she basically escapes by getting a small package, and Utami kicks out and then hits her with the rack bomb, and then hits her with the spinning Razor's Edge. But after the match, like, Mayu is clearly beaten, but like she gets up and she's upset, and this also plays into what happened earlier in the weekend on the Saturday show. But like, Kid is trying to help her out and console her, and she looks at Kid and she just like she just shoves her the fuck off of her. Like, get the fuck away from me! I'm disgusted. I'm pissed. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like that. So it's like clearly like whatever is going on. This isn't the last of them wrestling, but it was still just like
broken Mayu.
Broken Mayu. Like, no, it's like, I mean, given what happened on Saturday, and also with this, is like this could be a slow burn towards a heel turn. And quite frankly, like, if that's what they do with her, cool. But like, it's just weird. Is like the three biggest stars in the company are all in the same, or the three biggest merch sellers in the company are all on the same faction. And like, but like all in one faction. But, like, the two factions that are getting the biggest pushes right now are Queen's Quest and Dom Del Mondo. And it's like, okay. So, are these clearly these are long-term plays, but, like, when does the payoff come?
Josh, what'd you think about this match?
No, I thought it was a really good match, actually. It was certainly one that caught my attention. Pretty, like you said, there was some pretty heavy hit shit on there. Like that finisher was pretty brutal when she slammed her down. And I think this happened in this match. It's kind of late night, so I'm kind of
also
trying to think.
Right before we went to that singles I talked about at the end, like she hits her with a running lariat, and Mayu does this stupid bump that she does where she does the flip off of the lariat, but because it's Mayu, she lands on the top of her head on purpose.
Yeah, that was scary. I don't like that bump at all.
Yeah, that's one of her things.
Yeah, earlier in the match too. I think it was this match. I think Mayu hits Utami with the tombstone on the apron.
Yep. And then she melts off, and Utami melts off of the apron to the floor. Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal too. It looked like it was a little stiff on the landing, but I mean everything in this match it really kind of worked for me. I really enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah,
it's what you want out of a main event, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you want it to be hard hitting and fast paced, and I liked it.
Also, later on in the match, Utami answers her back by giving her air raid crash off onto the apron too. Right. She jumps. She's on the apron, has her on her back, packed on her back, and then jumps to the floor and then lets her go. And then Mayu just lands right on the apron, which is funny because, during a tag match with it wasn't the tag league final, but like, I think it was the first match or one of the first few nights of the tag league, because opposite whatever, the tag league stuff was weird this year, where like people in a block wrestled the other block, so basically you were guaranteed a rematch in the final. So the first match between that the finalists had against each other, like, is Momo and Azumi versus Utami and Big Saya, and Utami gave. This is the first time she ever did it, where she gave that same apron air raid crash. Man, she jumped off of that apron, and she didn't let go of Momo fast enough, and Momo did nothing but land on nothing but the floor, and I was like, oh my god, I was horrified, but I'm glad that she dropped her on the apron as intended, but because she wasn't supposed to drop Momo on the floor. I know that for a fact because they reacted like, "Oh my god, are you okay? Please, I'm sorry." But yeah,
right.
But it was a great match. It might be the weakest title defense that Mayu had, but it was still a great match.
Yeah, it was that gear I saw Tommy go into at the end of the match was very entertaining to watch.
Yeah. Also, she brought up some other things she don't do. Like when she was targeting the neck, when she had Mayu's head, had her body basically on the apron and her head sticking out over the apron, over the lip of the apron, and she started hitting her with kicks to jostle the neck or whatever else. Like Utami don't kick, so like she was like, nah, I see this weakness. I'm going to try to dislodge this vibranium slinky part. I'm gonna try my damnedest at least.
Yeah, kicking, good idea. Shout out to Aritha.
But yeah, I don't have a rating for it. It's in the low fours, probably 4.25, 4. But yeah, it was still a great match.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I guess we go next to the white belt match. Let's go to the post match. Utami, one thing of note. Stardom has had 2 different red belts, 2 designs. They have the original, and then so the title lineage goes from Nanae Takahashi to Alpha Female, Jazzy Gabbard, NXT UK, or Mae Young Classic as well, to Io, to Yoshiko, to it being vacated. Kairi wins it. Mako wins it from her. Io wins it back from Mako.
Stardom's Mako Satomura.
Why you had to do that? Anyway, so Io wins it back from Mako, and then Mayu wins it from Io, and then Mayu has a match against Toni Storm after Toni Storm wins the 2017 Grand Prix, and within like the first minute of the match she dislocates her elbow, so they award the belt to Toni Storm. So that's the belt, that's the red belt that they had, and then they had a second redesign belt, and that's when they issued it out. And Toni Storm had it, and then Toni Storm dropped it to Kagetsu. Kagetsu drops it to B. Mayu wins it back from B, and then Mayu says, "I want Nanae's belt." And then after she says that in front of a crowd, she goes, "Am I allowed to say Nanae's name?" If she says, I want the Nanai belt, you know, with the chain links, and that's why she has the red outfit with the gold links on it to symbolize like that specific belt or whatever else. So after Utami beats her, Rossi comes into the ring with both belts. Keep in mind, Rich, as he's mentioned, what's Utami's new nickname?
Big U.
No, the New Era.
Oh, New Era.
So Rossi comes in with both belts, the new redesigned belt and the old Takahashi belt. Which one do you want? Utami picks the newer belt. That was a defining thing. That was what they were going for. So I like that storyline touch of like, nah, like I understand Mayu is old guard and she wanted to come back to, you know, some of the traditions of the title belt lineage, but nah, like I'm the New Era. I am ushering in this change again. I'm bringing back the change we were headed towards. So I thought that was a cool touch. She goes on the mic, talks about the icon, talks about like she felt the weight of 10 years and everything, and she's looking for a new challenge, her first challenger for the December 20th Osaka Edion Arena show, in the same place they did the one of the final nights of the Grand Prix, or not Grand Prix of the G1. But anyway, out comes Julia and out comes Shuri.
See,
both at the same time.
I just clicked out of it.
Okay. Well, they both ran down together, and it was like, pick one of us. And then out comes Momo, who's been chasing after Mayu in his red belt since the 9th anniversary show. So like, I want a shot. And all three argued amongst each other. All three, you know, just picked up big wins on this show, and they just sat at the table for her next run at challengers. So Utami says, choice up to you. Or Don Del Mano members say it's up to you. Utami ends up picking Momo. So they're going to wrestle in the main event of the Osaka show on December 20th. And then on the undercard of that, they're going to do a white belt versus SWA, a double belt match between Julia and Shuri. Which, you know, so they got two good ass matches on top. But
look, they probably gonna have Julia win, and then Julia be like, "Yeah, I got these two belts with Tommy. What's up?" And that could be your 10-year anniversary match too. I just don't know if they'll tie up all the belts like.
I don't think they would do that.
Yeah, but
I don't think they would do that. But yeah, quite frankly, I don't think they should be beating Julia or Shuri with each other. Like, I don't think either one is good for them right now to lose to the other right now. To be quite honest with you, but you know, whatever. Because
maybe they'll give us a non-finish.
I don't think that'll happen. What you're most likely to get is a 30-minute time limit draw. That's what you're most likely to get. Yeah, but yeah, that's basically where we are. So I guess we go to the white belt match. Konami versus Julia. I gotta say, I probably thought I probably like this match more than any other match on the card. It was just so simple. It's like Julia fancies herself as a submission specialist. She's not all that good at it, but she tries. God bless her heart. And she's up against one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. And Konami basically, she starts the match with just like, she starts the match by going to her back in the middle of the ring like Tupac. And she's just like, come on.
She's like, come here.
Come on.
I love that. I love that moment. That was great.
Julia tries to grab a hold. She can't do shit. She damn near gets put in an arm bar. She escapes, luckily with her arm intact. She backs off. They get up and they fight. And then from there, Konami gets to work on her right arm, and there's just so much great like stuff that happens in the match. Like there's a spot where like Konami's kicking her ass so badly that like she starts doing disrespectful stuff. She literally slaps the back of her head while Julie's on the floor. Julie gets up and they start brawling back and forth from there. They end up out the ring. Konami ends up posting Julia's bad arm against the post. DDM members and Odo Edo Tai members, they distract each other. Distract the ref. Konami gets the chair from underneath the ring, wraps her arm in the chair, Julie's arm in the chair, and then posts her arm again. And then her arm, she's selling her arm a lot throughout the rest of the match. And I mean, there's different spots where, you know, they're brawling, they're exchanging forearms with kicks and everything. There's a spot where like Konami is beating the shit out of her arm with kicks, just gross. You know, there's a spot where they're both getting up after they beat the hell out of each other, where they're exchanging forearms on their knees. Konami knows that her arm is fucked, so she's like, come on, bring it on. I dare you to keep throwing these forearms. I dare you. And then Julia's just like, she keeps trying to throw it, and she gets weaker and weaker and weaker. And then, like, Konami keeps hitting her. It's throwing, like, disrespectful slaps in her face. And then Julia traps her arm and then just rears back and gives her a raw, unprotected, legit shoot headbutt that you can hear thudding through the arena.
Shibata.
Yeah.
That was pretty. Yeah, that was.
There's a time where Julia ends up getting this weird, like almost like an inverted version of Konami's old submission finisher, the Triangle Lancer, but like she can't hold on because her arm's too shot. It was just a great match. Like basically the end comes where Julia tries to get her up to give her her tombstone, but she can't because her arm hurt too bad. Konami slips off from the back, it gets her back, and it slaps on a Kimura. Julia adjusts a little bit and then gets her up and actually hits her with a tombstone and gets the win. And then like seconds later, Konami's up and talking shit and saying like, "You didn't beat me, you survived. This ain't over." I really enjoyed the match. This was like the best possible version of a Julia Konami match in light years beyond the match they had in the semifinal of the White Belt tournament back in January.
Josh, it's on you. What'd you think of this?
Yeah, no. So for me, like there wasn't as many like spots that stood out to me like the Red Belt match, but I felt like it was put together really, really well, and it flowed and it told a little bit better story in my opinion. I really enjoyed this match quite a lot. And like you said, that a lot of those kicks, like normally in a wrestling match you'd see those kicks kind of go to the head or the chest, and she was definitely working that arm, and that became a huge focal point of the match. And I thought watching it, I was like, oh, how is she going to win with that arm all busted up? So no, I thought it was a really good match. They really did. I got worked. So listen, I don't know if I like that one better than the red match because it's a little bit different. I like them both, but I really enjoyed that match quite a bit.
Yeah, no, the reason I'm laughing is like, no, we know that Julia's winning that match. She ain't fucking losing. Not no time soon, I don't think. Given what we've seen with I don't even want to get into the last match, but like these big shows, this match, the Yokohama match with Tam, which I mean, I feel like almost like once a month I come on here and say it's like the people that were so upset that Julia was getting pushed over their favorites in Stardom. I feel you, but sit down. Look, man, like she's good. Like, I understand that it was rough when she first came through and people were mad at her because she transferred to Ice Ribbon. And fucked up what's her name's Silent Tequila's retirement tour or whatever else, but it's like she's here, she has good ass matches, they push her to the moon. They've done everything in their power to surround her with super talented women around her. And she has nothing. And she has good matches all the time.
And all the guys love Julia.
Not as much as like they will want them, or Bushiroad will want them to yet anyway. But yeah, like she's doing very well. Yeah, it's like man, once you understand that Stardom is not the meritocracy that you think it was for some weird reason, the easier, and it's just like every other promotion, the easier you'll be able to accept that they push people because of they have something that is that not everybody can have, right? Like it happens here too. Like you just hope that like that person that gets pushed can have good ass matches or put together intriguing television, and Julia's absolutely done that. So I just don't. I understood it, but it's like the amount of stuff you see on Twitter from people was just like at the time was like y'all overdoing it, and now like she's making y'all look foolish.
Twitter being loud and wrong about somebody? No.
Yeah.
That's never happened before, Rich.
Yeah.
It was so funny, like going back to like the final of the white belt tournament, like people were like, I saw a couple people that were like, Tam and Julia, this is gonna stink. And I was like, okay, well, when they win the Feud of the Year award in the Stardom year-end awards, what she gonna do? Like, quite frankly, they probably had the best feud in pro wrestling this year. If you accumulate all their matches together, they probably have. But whatever. So underneath this match was B Priestley versus Shuri for the SWA title. The SWA
Loved
title.
It.
Yeah, I did too. The SWA title, to explain to Josh, is basically a Gaijin belt. The rules of the belt is it must be defended. It can only be defended against people from a different nationality than the champion. So, so the first person to win it was Io, and then Tony Storm won it off Io, and then took it around the world and defended it at different stops or whatever else in different indie shows, and then came back and then dropped it off, and then like it's typically like the loner belt for whoever top guys they trust, whether it's Jamie Hayter or it's B Priestley or Tony Storm most famously. So B had just won it because it was vacated by Jamie because she hasn't been back since the pandemic hit. But B had just won it at the Yokohama show by beating Momo. So they set this match up in the mid-October Corkin Hall after they did a Oedo Tai versus Queen's Quest, but Oedo Tai versus Donald Elmondo, multiple person tag is like a 6-person or a 8-person, can't remember. At the end, B was talking shit. She said, her thing where she goes like, Shuri, you suck. Shuri,
I have the audio.
Yeah, Shuri blew her fucking stack and chased her out of the building. So they had that match. They ended up having this match. Just a great match. Shuri out wrestles B. B scrambles for the ropes 2 different times, then eventually gets a hold of Shuri's leg and goes to town on it. Shuri fires back and like she does what I believe is selling the leg as well as you possibly can while being a person that's going to still do stuff in a match. Because you can't do the Tanahashi where you just like I'm just immobile, but like for a person that's like going to throw kicks with the bad leg, like, and given that in real fighting the leg that you throw that's when a leg is hurt, you want the leg that you're going to kick with to be the one that's hurt as opposed to the plant leg. So she did a great job with that.
I thought B, Tanahashi like.
With the dragon screw leg whip.
Yes. You know, two great workers on in Japan. You know, Bea Priestley and Hiroshi Tanahashi. You know,
same level.
It's funny because people hate her so much, but she's good. Like, how do you? Look, man. I can understand.
Stardom Wrestler of the Year, Bea Priestley.
I'm not going that far.
On One Nation Radio.
See, here you go with this cap shit. So
I can feel my brother-in-law getting angry at that notion.
Yeah,
I can just feel Zach just no
right. So throughout the match, like B has answers for Shuri in the form of working over the leg and the ankle on her striking leg. So whether it's transitioning and rolling through after catching a kick and then slapping on this modified grapevine ankle lock, whether it's basically General Bret Hart like working over the kicking a hamstring to death, putting it against the rope, slamming down on it while it's against the rope. I thought she did a really good job. It reminds me almost of her match with Arisa from January. Was that January? Yeah, January. But like, maybe that was February. No, that's February. Because the January match that she had was against Utami. So from February, but like it went the direction that match should have went. It didn't break off into you work over my leg for forever and then like I just run and jump and pretend it never happened. So it was just so well done, and ultimately like because Shuri is a submission specialist, and her submission of expertise is trying to rip your fucking arm off the socket. She goes for arm bars, answer for time she's fighting from underneath. And it ultimately becomes like one person's a striker selling a bad leg. The other person is trying to take advantage of this with holds, but ultimately, like, how well can that work when you only have one arm to really try to slap holds on this bad leg? So then there's a spot where it was funny because there's a spot where they both get to their feet. Shuri goes for a kick. B blocks it with her bad arm. So they both sell. B tries to throw a forearm with the bad arm. Shuri blocks it. She sells it. Then they both go for a kick, and because they both throw strikes, but Shuri is a legitimate MMA former UFC Japan pancrase motherfucker. She outpaced her like similar to the Kenta stuff to the beats her to the kick and takes her out, and then like hits her with a gigantic kick. It was so well done throughout the match, but basically, Shuri is laid out. She's dead to rights. She's pulling herself up against the corner. B comes flying in from the opposite corner and hits her and V triggers her head into the ring post padding. It was awesome. Lifts her up to go for the old Manami Toyota Japanese Ocean Cyclone suplex. Shuri fights out, slips down behind her, and gets a sleeper. B is fighting to the ropes. She gets halfway to the ropes. Shuri drags her ass back while she's still in the seated position. She uses her right leg to trap, or to basically jam her right foot underneath B's right foot, which traps B's right leg and right arm against like the back of Shuri's hamstring. Uses the other leg and traps B's left arm behind her back, and then slaps on a dragon sleeper, and it just makes B pass out. I was like, what the fuck is this? That is gross. I love Shuri. I hope she is a white belt or red belt champion sometime soon. She's the second best wrestler in this fucking company. And they literally pulled her out of being a freelancer just in the last, month or so. But like, she's been with Stardom ever since January or February. And I think it's January or February. And she's been awesome ever since. Like, she was second best wrestler in the Grand Prix. I love this woman. Like, I even liked her. I always liked her stuff even when watching Seedling or whatever else. But like, in Stardom, she's even better somehow.
Look, she's their Shingo.
Could be. could be.
So after the match, I got this gripping piece of audio. That means be previously you suck.
I loved it because she taught that shit to Shuri. Shuri ran her ass out the rucker, got her in the ring, whooped her, took her fucking belt, made her pass out, and then you tell me I suck? I just made you pass the fuck out. You suck. Sounds like good storybook telling. The babyface person in this matchup got the comeuppance.
And the heel got to react like a heel still.
Yes.
Kind of keep their heat a little bit.
Yes. Very simple. And then that ties into what happens after the end of the main event, where she comes out and where Julia and Shuri both come out as far as setting the table for what's the course for the fate of the red belt over the next few months. So the match before that was Himeka versus Momo. I thought it was a very good match. It is not of the caliber of the previous 3 matches we've discussed, but still good nonetheless. Momo's super overqualified to be in this position. Yeah, and they had a really good match. It's more of basically Momo is using her striking and her grappling to try to keep the giant off balance. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Ultimately, Momo gets herself in some trouble, and she tries some things to escape this, Himeka's big running power bomb. She tried to Hurricane Rana out of it. It didn't work because Momo doesn't do Hurricane Ranas. she basically stops the momentum and then slaps on a Boston Crab after earlier in the match. Himeka actually worked over Momo's legs for a short amount of time, realizing like this striker is going to eat me up if I don't do something to try to curb her or deter her from throwing kicks. But ultimately, didn't work. Momo ends up making the ropes. They wrestle a little bit more. Momo ends up getting gets some head kicks off, goes for a cross chicken wing. Himeka's trying to make the rope. She reaches out desperately with a free hand. That's a big mistake. You don't do that, Momo Watanabe. You know what happens next when you reach out? That arm gets caught. That arm gets put back, and you get your ass lifted in the Peace Sunrise, the pump handle half German, and for a pin, and she ended up dropping her right on the neck and pinning her 1, 2, 3.
Josh, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, no, I actually, it's funny. I agree with what you said, James. It's maybe a notch below the 2 other ones that we just talked about, the 3 other ones we just talked about. Mm-hmm. But I really enjoyed this match quite a bit. But you did a good job kind of talking about all the shots. I can't think of any other ones that were noteworthy. No. Please do that, because I have what I call dad memory, which means that I can't even remember my kids' names sometimes. So
I be having the same shit, bro. I don't be remembering nothing. It's rare.
So I take notes and stuff, but yeah. Showing you guys, this is my notes, right? I'm old school. I write them down with pen and paper. But yeah, no, really good match. Momo is somebody that I've actually watched before, and like picking choosing matches to go back and kind of look at. So no, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah. The match before that is the high speed match. It is Azumi in her second title defense versus the Clown.
Death the Clown.
Yes, Death the Clown. Yeah, like
I love this.
Yeah, I mean it's just back to the classic 101 high speed days of Hazuki, or even I don't even want to say because Rio had typical great high speed defenses as well, but it's just this was the track that this was headed towards with Azumi before Rio came in. Like she was going to succeed Hazuki as a high speed champion, but plans changed. Like it's on her now, and she's doing really good with it. Like, I would suggest if you like this match, even though it went like 4 minutes,
3 minutes,
or whatever,
3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Hey, honoring the legacy of Hazuki by wrestling under Hazuki's rules. 10 minutes or under. But you know, I've seen them have high speed matches before. They're always good. Yoniyama and Azumi, and they had another one. So if you haven't seen it, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I would check out the match they had in the opener that Azumi had in the opener with Starlight Kid at the Yokohama show, and like that's the best Starlight Kid Azumi match they've ever had, which is saying something because all they do is fucking wrestle.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, you know, good title defense. They didn't have Natsupoi on this show. They haven't had her in a while, I don't think, because I think it's because, you know, she wasn't on Tag League. But
oh wow, Azumi's an adult now.
Yeah, she's 18. We old, bruh.
I remember, like, she was like,
I feel like she was 16 a week ago.
16.
Like a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
18 feels like so long ago, guys.
But yeah, she's setting up for a feud, a big title defense with Natsupoi eventually. They were in the Korakuen Hall show on Saturday, and they were in either a 4 or 5-way match, can't remember, but I think it was like a 5-way or 4-way, whatever. But those two went beeline for each other in the match. Didn't really care much about trying to win the match as much as trying to beat each other up, talking shit to each other. They end up getting each other like caught in the ropes where they can't stop the pinfall from happening in the match they were in. After they get out of the ropes, they're grabbing each other by the hair and they're talking shit to each other. And like Azumi and that's where we're gonna have a great match whenever they have it for the high speed belt. We know it's coming, but we don't know where. But it's gonna be fantastic. But before that is like the 6-person tag match. I'm not gonna go into detail about it. As far as the moves in the match, but give you backstory to update you. On Saturday's show, let me phrase this. Let me go back even further. Let's go back. Tam is the second in command of Stars. She has been in Stars before the actually was called Stars. It was called the Stardom Army, and then it changed into Stars after some stuff we need to go over right now. But she has been Mayu's loyal number 2 for years.
They wasn't allowed to have armies in Japan. That's what happened.
Anyway, we're okay. So, Rich, you remember this at the beginning of the year. Tam put Big Saya, one of her mentees, into Stars on her own accord. She just said, I love you. I want you in Stars. Come to Stars. And she was in Stars until Utami beat her in the Futures belt and then said, we're short-staffed. You will look up to me. Come with me. And then she left Stars to go to Queen's Quest. And now they're the tag champions.
So like she could just leave her faction with no problem?
Yes. It wasn't again. Yes. She wasn't held at gunpoint and she couldn't. Yes, absolutely. Caleb. Jackass. So, yeah, Caleb is in the camp of the bad guys are the Young Bucks and not Hangman for screwing over his friends because they would not let him leave the friendship group because apparently it's like, I don't know. It's like selling dope. Like you
can't get out.
Right, you just can't get out. Get the fuck out of here. Like, anyway.
Is that why we're stuck with Caleb? Is that he can't get out? Like even if he wanted to?
That's insane. Right. As if,
okay.
Yeah, but like while ignoring the counterfactual that like Cody fucking Rhodes Rose has left them and also is doing his own faction, and nobody even says a word to him. They don't bother him. They don't beat him up. They don't even pay attention to him. But apparently the Hangman can't get away from these guys that were just like, will just abuse him or something. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, back to lecture at hand.
Yeah, we spent way too much time talking about Caleb.
Yeah,
let's just move on.
Jesus Christ. So
Screw Caleb.
So then she adds Big Saya. Big Saya leaves. So Big Saya says to her friend, her fellow rookie, her best friend in Stardom, Itsuki, come with me to Queen's Quest and we can, create our path together like we always planned. Itsuki says,
"What you mean we?"
I don't have dreams of riding your coattails. I have dreams of becoming my own person. I want to join Stars. Tam, watching her two mentees diverge, one of them is leaving and wants the other one to leave. The other one says, I want to stay. Like, shakes her hand, puts her in Stars, and give her this huge hug. Like, thank you for not leaving me alone with Arisa. Thank God. So...
Little did she know, Arisa about to buzz off on their ass.
Right. So, flash forward to, so those are two people that's Tam, because she's number 2, she's the underboss.
she patching people in, she's Bully Ray.
I'm not going that far. I was more talking about Fale as far as the underboss joke, but she has had this authority to add people to Stars for a while now, with no conflict. So, the Yokohama show happens back in October. The day after is Mina versus Tam. Tam whoops her ass and says, "Hey, I like you. Come be my tag member in Tag League. Come be in Stars." During the Tag League, it is Mayu and Starlight Kid versus Tam and Mina. Mayu whoops Mina's ass and pins her, and it says after that, or on the front end before the match happened, they knew that this was a test match or a trial match to see if she deserves to be in Stars. Mayu whoops her ass, pins her, and says, "Nice job, welcome to Stars." So flash forward to the Saturday show. Mina and Tam have a surprise for everybody, and they're going to have a new third person come in. Code name was ZZ. Someone's debuting. So it is a woman named Unagi. I don't remember what her name was, but she's from former Tokyo Joshi Pro, which is like, that's Tokyo Joshi Pro Ice Ribbon in Actress Girls is where like Stardom is plucking people, really, if you look at it.
Villain.
Yeah. So
I believe the way that you say her last name, James, is Sayaka.
Sayaka. That's how I'm pronouncing it until I hear pronunciation. Best I can do.
Works for me.
So,
is Rich Paul funneling all these people to Stardom?
I'm trying to think who would be the Rich Paul of Japanese women's wrestling. Hold on, who would be this power broker? It can't be Rossi. Rossi's too high profile. He's like a team owner. Who would be? I don't know. Maybe Mayu. I don't know. Because she gets to talk to like the Joshi Illuminati, so she has some ties,
special privileges.
Right. But anyway, she comes in, and the match is Unagi, Tam, and Mina versus Mayu, Starlight Kid, and it may have been Hannon, it may have been Saya, I can't remember. But basically, they have this match, before the match even happens, Mayu, while Starlight Kid's doing the promo, is upset, and she looks pissed off, and Starlight Kid's like, "Why are you pissed off?" And she's like, "I just have some weird feelings, and I'll sort it out in the ring." Match starts. Mayu beats the shit out of all three of them throughout this match, and I don't mean it like she clearly has the attitude of saying, I'm pissed off at these three and I'm letting them feel it. Like, these motherfuckers finna feel it. And Tam's like the last person to get in for a while, and then eventually Tam gets in with Mayu, and it is like fireworks. It is very similar to their Grand Prix match. And they just go at it, and then at the end, ultimately, Mayu's team loses. And she doesn't shake hands with them or none of that. Like, she just storms off. So there was a Twitter exchange that happened that I saw, and I'm getting this all out of chronological order because like I'm trying to avoid spoilers, so I block all the Twitter accounts. But Tam bringing in a fourth person to Stars in the year of 2020 was a tipping point. She was like, "You're not even the leader of Stars. Who are you to keep putting motherfuckers in the Stars? What the fuck is going on?" Tam was like, "Mayu, you know I love you, and you saved me after I got kicked out of Oedo Tai in that match. But, like, my path isn't to just, like, follow behind you and ride your coattails for the rest of time." So, as of right now, the standing is Stars, and then there is a subunit in Stars called the Cosmic Angels that is Tam, Mina, and Unagi.
So they're the elite.
I think that the Mayu and Starlight Kid side is the elite because...
Oh, okay.
But,
yeah.
You know, like, Tam's better than Starlight Kid, but, like, if we start going down and we start having to go, like, Mina versus Lasaya, I'll take Lasaya as far as, like, the worker. But, whatever. Here's the thing. It's a logjam at Stars. Like, when TCS got disbanded, everybody from TCS, except for Konami and Rina, went to Stars. So Stars is right now, with the addition of Unagi, they're 10 deep. Mm-hmm. They're 10 deep, and like most factions have like 5 or 6 people. It's almost as if they're splitting this in half eventually. So that's fine. It sucks because, like, you know, Tam and Mayu are my two favorite wrestlers, and like their friendship and bond is the reason why I like both of them so much. Like, if they split apart eventually over time, like, I'm not gonna like it. But like, Tam's overqualified to be a faction leader. That's been the case for a while. It is what it is. Not all great things can last forever. Yeah. So anyway, to the match. They have the match. The Cosmic Angels versus Oedo Tai. It is Saki and Natsuko and Little Rina. Rina was, after TCS got disbanded, got moved over to Stardom or Stars, and then she turned on Stars in some like second match or opener match at a Corkin Hall, and then came out and helped Saki win a match, and then like 2 matches later she came out for Natsuko's match, and she's with Stars ever since. So now, after dressing like Mini-Me Hannah for like that year, she is basically like dressed like Hannah still, except it's all black, and she has like this top, and she looks like a 13-year-old dominatrix.
It's a little odd.
The thing is this. It's super odd if you don't have the context I have. It's like, she used to dress like this one woman that she used to inspired by. She passed away because she got cyber bullied to death, and she was wearing her garb, and then like she's on this heel team now, so she wears all of her garb stuff except it's all black now. It's like, but she looks like a dominatrix now. I know, but I have to explain that to you. It's like, but you know, after I explain it to you, you're still like, yeah, cool, bro. It's a 13-year-old dressed like a dominatrix. What the fuck is going on? So so it's a mind. I understand. I completely understand.
What's going on out here? That Vince Lombardi.
Yeah. It's like, wait. I mean, dude, because Meltzer talked about Hina wearing the Hannah stuff back in January. Uh-huh. Like, there is no pandemic now, or like if there was no pandemic, he'd be flying in and he would be seeing her now as a 13-year-old domination. He'd be like, what the fuck is going on? It'd be funny. But, yeah, so they have a match. And at the end of it, it was an okay match, but ultimately, Utami...
this shit in here was funny.
Utami... Well, go ahead.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the 5-way.
Oh, yeah, but basically, ultimately, Mina gets the win over the Dominatrix. And Cosmic Angels are off to the races. We'll see what happens in the future. Like, I suspect that we're going to get a big Mayu Tam match eventually, which, you know...
Maybe that's like the 10th anniversary show.
I mean, it could be. Like, I mean, their match that they had in the Grand Prix at the end of it was awesome anyway. So, like, and they have they've had 2 good matches I've seen, 2 bangers that I've seen. So, you give them feature length time to get it done, like, they'll have a classic. There's no doubt in my mind. But
Mayu got to come out like with the all black gear now and like evil music.
Evil music. She never worn all black before, but like 2018 she wore mostly black. But yeah. Here's the thing. Mayu is one of the best baby faces on earth. And she's probably miscast. Like, if you watch, for example, her match against Lil Sai in the Grand Prix, or sorry, Big Sai in the Grand Prix, her match with Starlight Kid in the Grand Prix, her matches when she is a wronged baby face getting revenge against Io Shirai after Io turned on her and started Queen Quest in 16 to 17. Mayu with a mean streak beating the shit out of people is fucking awesome. Like, so if she were to turn her heel at this stage in her career, she could do it and she'd be fucking awesome at it, because I've seen her have matches where she's had to bully people around and beat the crap out of them, and they've been great. So whatever they want, like, she could do anything. All right, so it is what it is. But you know, we'll see what they do. It seems like they're going this long path towards faction warfare, and I don't mind it, because like Unagi, she's only been wrestling for like a year. She has like less than 50 matches in her career on her belt. Mina, she's been wrestling for like about 2 years, and she doesn't have nearly as many matches as like someone like Utami, who debuted around the same time. So, like, you know, I think Rich, you said you liked Mina already, but like, Unagi is somebody that I think that, like, once she gets, you know, 70 matches a year plus, like, she could be really good. So, there's room for growth there with that faction, especially given that the way they all look like money. So, the 5-way was... Yeah, so the 5-way was the next match. Rich, this is your notes. You see that you love this match. You said this was some PWG shit, so go ahead.
Yeah, this is a PWG match. All the 5-way spots. The referees doing spots with them.
Yep. Oh, hold on. Let me say the names of everybody in the match. It is Riho and Starlight Kid and Hannon and Hina and Big Saya.
Yep. So I saw Riho come out, and I was so happy. I miss Riho. Bring her back home to AEW. You know,
bring her back home.
You know, in this damn pandemic.
I think she technically is home, Rich.
That's why it was so funny.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just going to ask you a question, just because Riho came up. If she came back to AEW right now, like, where would they even put her? Like, what did she just go right after the title? Like,
they have to ease her back in and then go for it again.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I can remember, like, she was their most bankable star in the women's division at the time. I think the main thing is similar to Pac, is like, if they come over here, they have to stay they need a place to stay. So unless you set up a residency for them to be able to live, what else can they do except for go back?
Right.
You know, like, I mean, quite frankly, without the pandemic, like, she had a perfect situation for her, right? She could work in the biggest women's promotion in the country she's from, and then, like, they booked her as the biggest star in the division, which she was in American television, and it was perfect for her. The problem is now, because of, it was like a feedback loop. And because of, she wasn't originally in Stardom, she was in Gotta Move. She moved to Stardom, and because she was the AEW Women's Champion, or being groomed for it at the time anyway, like, she never did jobs. Like, she's been with Stardom for I think she showed up in the August. I think she showed up in the August Corkin Hall of last year. She's been around for like 14 months. She has yet to be pinned or submitted.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
So, yeah, and I don't mind it. Like, there are some people that they lose their mind over it, but I don't care. It's like, she's not put in high stakes situations. Like, the problem, the thing that kind of stinks for Riho is that because of her situation where there is clearly a credo or some type of decree that she cannot do jobs, they don't put her in any matches of consequence. So
right.
They made her the high speed champion, and then like when it was time for her to say, all right, we gave you this title shot, it's time to put the belt on go to Azumi like we were playing to before you won the table. They put Starlight Kid and they made a 3-way, and then Azumi pinned Starlight Kid. So and then, like, when they did Tag League with Riho, Starlight Kid was there. They tagged together, and all they did was have Starlight Kid do jobs for when they need to lose. So that's
Riho, elite level working.
So, like, what ends up happening on these shows that Riho's on is, like, normally either Stars, Queen's Quest, or Donald Armando main event, and then also on the second. The semi-main event, and then the third or second match, Riho's is in some type of multiple person match or a tag match, and she's tagging with either Queen's Quest or Stardom, or not Stardom, Stars, and like she either wins or she loses because someone else got pinned or submitted or whatever else, but she never does jobs. And it's like, she's very good. If this thing wasn't on, I think she would be top 8, but they're never going to, she's never had a white belt match or a red belt match, and she's never going to because they can't beat her.
Right.
Yeah. So it's cool to have her.
That's an interesting pickle.
Yeah. It's cool to have her, but like, it sucks that like she's clearly good enough to be like up the card, but like she's just stuck in main event purgatory. And like, ultimately, if she's still selling a bunch of merch, whatever, with Stardom, like, it doesn't really matter. She's making her money. But, like, it stinks that, like, she's stuck where she can't be a top star in America, and then also because of the decree with the American stuff, she can't be at the top of the card in Japan either. So, like, she's making bank, but it sucks because, she can't really, do what she was meant to be doing right now because of the stupid fucking pandemic. Wear a mask.
Put the red belt on her and just let her beat everybody, and then drop that shit and hand that belt back and say you lost your smile.
Hey, well, the most right now, like, the most interesting thing they could do is build towards a Utami versus Riho red belt match right now, given that Utami loves her some Riho. This was the start of this, like, Queen's Quest thing. Before, she was mostly just tagging with Stars or with Tokyo Cyber Squad. But once that started to get disbanded, they had a random Corkin Hall match where, like, second or third match was Utami tagging with Riho. And Utami was like, they're together and they're cutting a promo. And, like, Utami's like, you just stay safe and I'll protect you. And Rio was like, oh. she literally made the noise, oh, like, what? and they had the match, and like they were a fun ass team. And then like recently, because of Tag League, at the end of Tag League, it was the tag champions, Utami and Big Saya versus Riho and the Clown. Riho and the Clown were a tag team, and they were doing funny ass comedy spots. Like they were. I didn't want to get into spots they're doing, but they had the match where, like, Utami was like next to Big Saya and said, like, yeah, we're in this match against Riho, and I love Riho. She literally said, I love Riho. And then Big Saya looked at her and then put out this big ass pouty face, bottom lip is sticking out, and whatever else. And she's jealous of her. She's trying to beat up Riho in the match. And there's a spot where Riho ends up in the air and Utami catches her and holds her up like almost like Superman holding Lois Lane. And she starts rocking her back and forth like a baby. And it was fucking hilarious. I was like, hey man, like, I don't know what's going on here, but I really enjoy this love triangle going on between Utami and Saya and Big Saya and Riho. And we can't get no fucking payoff because Riho can't do no jobs. I want a payoff. I want someone beating over this. But, yeah, it still was a very fun, good match. He had a bunch of comedy spots. You mentioned it was because of the connections between two members of
5-way submission moves.
Yes. Yeah. What was it? What was the move again? It wasn't like
there were 4 of them doing head scissors to each other like a caterpillar, and then like Big Saya goes on the end and is like, nah, I'm not about to do that. I'm about to grab the first person, pop them in a Boston Crab, and then it's like the pressure is on all 4 of them that is like there. Yes. I'm like, oh, so they have decided this is Rosita. So
yeah, the 6-person suplex with the ref. I was laughing watching that. I was just like, oh man, this poor ref. There's no way he's gonna suplex somebody, so he's gonna eat the suplex. But I thought that was pretty funny. I really like that spot too.
Yeah, and this was a match that got changed to a 5-way at the last minute, like the day before. The newest rookie debuted on Saturday's Corrigan Hall. And Big Saya apparently roughed her up so much that she couldn't wrestle on Sunday. So they had to audible from it being a 6-person tag to a 5-way. So, like, I saw that change and I was like, okay, so, Riho's going to be good. Starlight Kid's going to be good regardless. Big Saya, she can be good when you get her spots right or whatever else. But we got 2 teenagers in here. We got a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old. How are they going to adjust to having to scrap a match that they've probably practiced or whatever else? And it went off without a hitch. It was a very good comedy match. So that was a success for me because I was watching that match like this could stink, but it didn't. Finish comes after they get everybody cleared out. Hina's still in the ring with Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid lays her out. Starlight Kid normally does a second rope moonsault. She says, nope. It's the Big Show. Well, not that Big Show, but it is a big show. I have to do something. I have to take it up a notch. Goes all the way to the top rope, hits her first ever top rope moonsault, gets a W. So that was cool. Then I guess we're here. We're at the opener. Future Stardom title match. Micah versus Little Saya. And Rich, what were your thoughts on this? I believe you really like this match.
Yeah, seeing Little Saya do all them chops and shit is fucking hilarious. Saya's like all of 4'9".
Yep, exactly 4'9".
And she's having a hoss match like Ishii, essentially. And she's got really good fire.
Yes. She can bump her ass off.
Yeah, she's it's very interesting. She's always a fun watch. Like, it's just she's so little. Like,
she's so little. She's so little, and she still is clearly with only just the young girl offense. So you wonder what else she can do, given that like she can already have very good matches with her limited experience and limited like skill set of things she can actually do or she's allowed to do. So it's like, what happens in a year or two when they say, all right, you're no longer a futures wrestler, go do your thing. Like hopefully she can stay healthy enough and still be able to get to that point, because like she could be really good.
Yeah. Solid opener.
Yeah. Micah, I've forgotten to mention this. I've been wanting to mention this ever since the October 3rd match or show. Micah has gotten new gear, and it comes with a new robe in the robe is so awesome. Did you notice what the robe looks like, Rich?
I did not.
It looks like samurai armor, Rich. She's going to war. It's fucking awesome. She comes down to the ring like a samurai, takes off the garb, and then gets the cheese to beat the shit out of people and throw them around. I don't know what her future holds.
That was what wrestling's supposed to be. Everybody's supposed to like dress up in like wild outfits and then take them off to get into the spandex and then whoop ass.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that because like I keep forgetting to mention every time I go over Stardom. It's like this woman comes down to the ring dressed as a samurai, ready to whoop ass. But
so like Will Ospreay.
Oh God, she doesn't have a samurai sword, but yes.
Maybe B can put the word in and borrow it from Will.
Wow.
You know,
one thing I like to know.
Props department can send it over to Bushi Road.
Wow. So Rich, on a scale of 1 to 10, how ask both of y'all, how big do y'all pop when Saya broke out the shoot raw legitimate headbutt? I was not expecting that in an opening match. I was not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you always see those headbutts and you wonder like, oh man, like I don't know, headbutting people like you know me, I don't give a fuck what people do in the ring, but like headbutting is like,
just don't do it
for a young girl opening match. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it.
How old are these girls, James?
Micah and I almost said Shuri. Micah and Lasai are both like 23ish, 22, 23ish.
Okay. Not that that's any better to. Not that that's a great age to do headbutts.
I know Saya looks like she's 15. I get it.
No, I would have guessed that she's the older one just by looking at the face. But I in my notes I literally wrote, do these two women hate each other? Just because like to bust out a shoot headbutt in the opening match. I was just like, I don't even know what I'm watching right now. Like, this is insane.
Right. Like, this is the opener? What the fuck? Okay, so they do have a storyline at play. I want to say, okay, Utami beat Saya for the future. Utami defended the Futures belt against Big Saya back in February. Once she beat Big Saya, she relinquished the belt and said, I want to focus on the red and white belt. I've defended this. I've had it for 13 months now. I've defended it a bunch of times. I'm leaving it for the future. So, when she took Big Saya with her to the QQ and they went off to the sunset. So, the belt was defended between Big Saya and Micah and Lasaya in this match that I forgot the name of it, but basically the rules were it's 3 of you. There's 2 people going to be in the ring for a fall. The winner and then like one person wins, one person loses, and then the loser is replaced by the fresh competitor, and we're going to keep having matches or falls over and over and over until someone wins back-to-back falls.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, so basically it was
the old win by 2 at the neighborhood
basketball
ball court. Yeah.
So basically it was a good ass match, by the way, because like after each fall progresses, like the matches get shorter, more intense, they sell more, and like by the end of it, Micah pinned Lasaya, and she became the future champion. I think it was like, it may have been the July Korakuen Hall or maybe the August Korakuen Hall. I can't remember. But she's been champion ever since. Recently, Big Saya went for another shot, challenged Micah for another Futures belt match, and Micah put her away. So, Saya has this match, or Lasaya has this match, loses, and then like, clearly that's not over. Like, she is chasing after this Futures belt, and she'll get another shot eventually. But like, even the even the freaking young girl belt has a storyline and people chase after. So
Yeah.
it's a well-booked company. It just comes down to exposure. But yeah, like I said, like good show, top to bottom, consistent. And I wonder what they're going to do in the future because like there's some certain things like it's going to be heartbreaking to see what happens as far as this Mayu and Tam thing. But if it needs to be done, it needs to be done because you know, you gotta have some. You have to have something for Mayu to do while she's side questing without the belt because like she's the biggest star in the company, and they took the belt off her, and this was her ace run. So like, where do you go from there? Like and don't tell me we're gonna have some usual shit. It's like no, you can't be doing that.
The Bushiroadism of it all, right?
Like Gato, like find out Gato was recently hired. Like, actually, we gonna get this shit on Natsuko, and then we gonna do ref bumps and all the shit, and then we gonna have somebody that don't try, you know, get real popular, and then they're gonna swap the belt there and do a bunch of matches with Natsuko, you know. Wow, Mayu wrestles against like who's the third person in Donna Del Mondo?
Third person down the mountain is Micah.
Okay,
can't even do that. Everybody works hard in Stardom except for like maybe like two people. There's only two people you can even say are loafers.
Let's see. They have her fight Def Yamasan, you know.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, Def Yamasan's now in the stars, but I get your point. I get you.
You know, B Priestley eventually, you know,
she's Jay White.
Yeah, you know, she ends up with some type of beef with Natsuko, and like, you know.
All right,
Momo,
now you're getting too close home. That part could happen.
Look,
they're in the same fashion.
And now Momo, since you know she's never really got her chance, she wins the Grand Prix, but she ended up losing her shot. But out of the kindness of,
I lost my headset,
you know, out of the kindness of the new champions, I didn't know who Naito was. I didn't cast a Naito. Saki Kashima? How about that? Out of the kindness of Saki Kashima's heart, you know, God. She then will give, you know, that title shot to, what's her name? Momo. Yeah.
That sounds like that would suck.
Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, when you explain it like that, Rich.
Yeah. Like when you lay it out in these black and white terms, it sounds almost as like that's a bad story.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter what the characters are, right? It's just the structure of it all. I mean, New Japan was a struggle. It was a summer struggle. So
that shit was a shoot.
Yeah. It's like, wait, so like the heroes the heroes involved in this, one is undeserving and has no agency over the strings that are being pulled because he's just lost, and then the other hero is a dumbass. Okay, all right, yeah, but
shit, the only thing they could have done is had Naito run in the Jay White in a Bushi match, and then like take a kendo stick, and while one of them was in a figure four, start hitting Kota Ibushi with it, so he wins by disqualification and gets himself in the dome. That's the only way it could have been worse.
Oh my God, is that Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda?
Yes.
Don't put that back out there, Rich. Come on now. Don't speak it into existence.
Look, I'm tired of people lying about New Japan right now. All this cap, you know, we trying to do the you know, because we ain't washing Gato's feet over here.
With your hair,
you know, yeah, you know,
like the
with your hair, yes, you know, you're not worshiping Gato's feet. Look, we gonna call this shit like we see it. This shit is terrible. Like.
like I just to put it this way, I do a podcast about Impact Wrestling where they have a murder mystery wedding going on, and it's far more interesting than anything that's happened in New Japan this summer. So, that's my 2 cents on it. But I'm not a lifer New Japan watcher or anything. So I guess maybe I'm not as close to the sun on it, but I didn't enjoy anything that Gato's done really over the summer.
Like, I mean, quite frankly, all you really have to go off of is like the A block of the G1. Don't get me wrong, like the heel turn that Evil had on Naito was, or not heel turn, but like the turn he had on Naito was fucking awesome. It's just everything after that was substandard.
You remember he's evil, like.
But yeah, like it's just they put a lot of wrong levers over the summer, and they're gonna have to right this ship. Like they're just gonna have to. I mean, we're not even got into Ospreay turning heel to fight Okada probably in Wrestle Kingdom, but it's like, he can do it, but it's like, how many heels are you gonna have?
Right. Like somebody gotta go face, and people are saying Jay White's gonna turn face, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't see anything about Jay White that's like that you would want to just cheer for and be compelled by. Like he's not somebody that just you watch him and be like, oh man, I can't wait to cheer for this guy.
To be fair, you've only ever known him as an asshole. Like we've seen this a lot when it comes to on the other side, when it comes to people that we've only seen as career babyface. You're like, how are they gonna work as a heel? And sometimes they're awesome. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt on that. But for me, it's kind of like, is he going to be better than Will Ospreay was as a babyface?
Right.
I doubt that. And Jay's a damn good heel, so I don't know what the necessary rush was to swap both of those, if that is actually what where they're headed to. Like, I don't think like swapping those is going to be better than what the status quo was, but sometimes people feel like they need to shake shit up, and I guess go nuts with that.
They've been shaking for a while. Sound like they're throwing shit at the wall. Like,
another thing is like, okay, so y'all did all this in like, where's Sonata?
Having boring matches.
Sonata beat Evil. Sonata beat Naito.
He's gonna get the first shot after the Dome. Whoever, he's probably gonna be the person that gets the New Beginning match.
How nice of them. He beat the last 2 champions in the tournament, and he has to wait for months. And it's after the Dome.
Yeah. Look, and fuck around be Ibushi, who he fought in the G1 final and lost to. And if it ain't Ibushi, then you've murdered him forever, and he should go to America. Like,
but he's on a lifetime contract, though.
Yeah,
so he ain't really going nowhere.
Look, and then if you beat Tetsuya Naito, you pissed off and wasted away this guy's title reign and literally booked it around interference for a year.
Look, they're content with that. They've made their bet on that because they keep doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on fuck shit in his matches. So
look, and then if you made Jay White a champion, you're closing Wrestle Kingdom with a heel.
Hey,
good luck. Good luck picking the best option.
Hey, they closed last year with a heel too when Kenta beat the fuck out of Naito.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
I remember the Ingobernables fans were not very happy about that.
And remember, it was like, it's cool because it's different and it gets some heat for their match immediately and blah, 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 blah. Now, you tell me, looking back on it now, if that was a mistake.
I mean, they did great business afterwards, but I think you do that whether you do that attack or not.
Right, because people love Naito.
Yeah, he's like mega over, and it doesn't make sense to take his heat that way.
Yeah, and may I remind you, the domestic fans aren't fucking idiots. They know Naito's not going to lose his first title defense. Like, come on, man. Like,
Look, well, the man came back from the pandemic. Take it off him.
Yeah, but that wasn't his first offense.
Yeah. Man.
Look, and they clearly that was a play to try to get Evil over. They moved that shit. You see, they moved that shit right back. They were never planning on going all the way with Evil. That was never a thing. That was like, let's try something to get the dude over. It didn't work. Clearly,
I still can't believe
mind-boggling.
At a certain point, Evil had the IWGP and the Intercontinental title.
Yeah,
it's Mahalian. Like
Mahalian.
You can't explain this. Like yeah,
you shouldn't.
I'm done. Look, I'm done. Like,
I can't explain this. You can't. You shouldn't.
Yeah. I feel like I should go back on Keepin It Strong Style to finally do a big basically an audit of because we caught a little bit of blowback when I was on there, and me, Jeremy, and Giles ripped that shit to shreds. Right, and now we got all this months later evidence and proof and a terrible title program to come out of it. I feel like I should go back on the show and ask the listeners, like, how about it now? Like, what we talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I see anybody defending that like vehemently anymore on Twitter. Like, no one's out there on me like. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are, but I don't see it as prevalently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be quite, I don't really peruse the bureau Twitter like that, but I didn't really see much of that either. I saw more people being like, I don't know about this, bro. And that's kind of where it was like, I don't really know about this. But maybe, because I don't really follow like the riffraff that y'all be following, so maybe I was shielded from that. Yeah. And I also have like half of them blocked. Yeah. I don't want those fucking Stardom spoilers. So that might be part of it too. I got people muted and blocked, or muted and blocked and put on a list that I just put it off to the side. List? Not that kind of list, sir.
Not that list.
But yeah, Josh, thanks for coming on, man. Late night, but appreciate it. So give us your plugs, please.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thanks for having me. It was a real blast. Late nights are kind of kind of a thing, so never fear on that. But definitely. I listen to 8-Bit Suplex. We normally release on Fridays, but sometimes there's kind of some scheduling conflicts, so we'll be anywhere from Thursday to Saturday. But typically Fridays. We're going to do a big Thanksgiving show over the weekend, just because obviously our recording time is normally Thursday nights. I think if I record a podcast on Thanksgiving night, I will probably be divorced by Friday morning. So not looking to do that. But yeah, no, definitely go check us out wherever you listen to your podcast. 8-Bit Suplex, no hyphen in the name, just an 8, a space, the bit, and then Suplex. You follow us on Twitter at 8-Bit Suplex. Go check us out. It's Impact Wrestling for the first half of the show. And then we have a video game topic on the second half. Rich, when you were on, we talked some Fire Pro Wrestling. So it's sometimes it's wrestling related, sometimes it's not. We just talked about with Floyd from All Things Elite. We just talked about the AEW games release. So go check that out. And then
they got a cool shirt.
Shoot us. We do have a pretty cool shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees as well. It's pretty comfortable, and it comes in white for those that have too many black wrestling shirts. So it's a nice mix up there.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I will be waiting for your Spider-Man Miles Morales episode. Keep me posted.
Will do.
Yeah, but that's in the show. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using and listen to this with. Tell the folks about the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Be sure to visit ProWrestlingTees.com/Social Suplex and pick up some official Social Suplex Podcast Network merchandise. As Josh mentioned, and be sure to check out the other shows on the network. On Sundays, we normally have the show One Nation Radio. On Tuesdays, we have Keepin It Strong Style. For now, ... On Wednesdays, we have the Ricky Clive Wrestling Podcast. On every other Wednesday, we have Gonna Watch This Shit. On Thursdays, we have the Grave Consequences Podcast. On Fridays, we have Josh's show, 8-Bit Suplex, and on Saturdays, we have All Things Elite. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.